Hello, hello. Hey, Kevin. So it is Friday, and as I just wrote in chat right now, I'm not totally sure what we're going to be doing. I've got some things I need to look at. We should probably start with review Kevin's PR and maybe see if we can find out what happened with the save file. Man, it was like version 0.7.x to the latest one. I don't know. Anyway, all of this stuff we still have to do. I'm just gonna write this like marketing thing down over here because I'm never taking care of these things. It's not even all of this, but it's most of this. There we go. Put this down under marketing. And then the not all of this part is this. I'm gonna write this for weekend, but I haven't been doing work on the weekend, so it's probably not getting done. This stuff, minor issues. Yeah, let's write this down over here too. Okay. Hey, Magnetic Bind. Hey, how's your game going? I saw there was a patch yesterday. And I saw that washing machine is apparently a character or a thing. It reminds me of, was it Banjo Tooie, I think? Had a washing machine? At least I think it did. Yeah. Banjo could turn into a washer. What a wild game. All right, anyway, yesterday was May 1st. So it's the last full month now before next fest. And then once we're in June, we'll have what, 8 days? So yeah, big things I need to work on. Trailer, I think we got to do that off stream. But yeah, intro, I wrote music. I've been spending a little bit of time on the music stuff. In fact, that's something we might work on this afternoon. I might just drive everybody nuts doing that. Afternoon, maybe work on music. Hiding empty plots of land, trying out some marketing stuff, maybe some vacation time, maybe even pruning the demo. Hey, who cares? Yeah, this bit I'm kind of interested in. Like we have, depending on how you look at it, somewhere between an hour and a half to like 3.5 hours of demo content. And I wonder if we should cut out half an hour or so of that just to make it feel like there's even more value for the full game. But I'm not sure. And there's probably something to be said for getting through the content and recognizing that you've gotten through it and still seeing how much more there is to do. I should probably write this down for some of the Next Fest prep stuff. Launch for Next Fest. Launched a patch. Finally got all the models from our artists for all the characters. Washing machine used to just be the default cube. Falls on an enemy at the beginning of the fight and just sits there for the rest of the fight. Okay, I see. Maybe block some perks with a message of not available in demo. Is that good? Yeah, I think something like that, like hinting that, hey, there's more. But I need to think about how we're going to do that. I don't have anything written, do I? No, we don't have anything about that. Okay, let's fill this in then. Consider pruning the demo for Next Fest. Okay, so depending on how you look at it, the demo has somewhere between like 1.5 to 3.5 hours of content. Hey, Conquer. Uh, if the full, I feel like, oh, it's right here. Yeah, I wonder if we should prune that down and perhaps in obvious ways, like saying this perk isn't available in the demo. The current end of the demo is after you beat the Inferno, but it's not really balanced the way that I think the final game will be. Yeah, so if we cut out the last like 2 areas, it may work well. It's, out, says not available in the demo. Yeah, I, I'm gonna write this down here. All right, yeah, I got to get on the trailer at some point. The other problem with the trailer stuff, though, is the longer I wait, the more things change, and in ways that I just didn't really predict that they would change by now. And I don't know how much more. Like, I should probably wait till the last minute to record a new trailer. Even this, having these grayed out areas here, I think this is nice. And I think if we were to record a trailer, we could show you unlocking some of these places, for example. Or I don't know, even the battle windows, like being able to move these over here. And in the trailer showing off that, hey, they're not always on the bottom. I don't know, little things like that they're not necessarily gameplay, but they're still helpful to show. Hey Carson, thanks for the resub. Happy 2/3 of a year. Same fear with our trailer. Show work in progress or outdated details until we're basically done with the game. Yeah, and I think that's partially why I've resigned myself too. I'm gonna have to remake this thing at least another probably 2 times. It didn't actually take me super long for the first time, but there is a part of the trailer that I'm not sure how I'm gonna do in a polished way. Because in the trailer, I zoom in on a battle and then I zoom in with a video editor and then I zoom out with a video editor. So like it's basically doing this effect. And that's okay, but oh, wait a second. What if I did use the Mac zoom for that? That might work better. I don't know. I'll have to think about that sort of thing. Anyway, let's go review Kevin's PR before I forget here. Show battle progress in oh, this is a proof of concept. I did not realize. Adds a life bar into the toolbar to display the progress of a battle in terms of health. Hovering the bar will also show a tooltip with the absolute values. This is more or less experimental, but it seems to work well. Only thing I'm not sure about is reusing life bar. I use it because it's easy and familiar, but it's hacky. Okay, well, let's take a look. Do I have any changes here? No. All right, this is 932. And there we go. So the idea here is that when a battle is minimized, you can still tell what's going on. I'm not even sure how often people are going to be minimizing battles. Oh, interesting. There are a few things I don't expect here. One is that this starts at the halfway point. Oh, I think I see what maybe this is doing. It gets redder if you're losing. So it always starts at the halfway point. Let me try sending the rogue into here and see if that's how that works. Yes, that is how that works. Okay, what I was picturing, what I was picturing is that we could do a couple of different things here. I'm not sure what option is best, but option one is just show your consolidated life bar. Option two is show 2 separate life bars so that it's clear at a glance if you're winning. And I'm leaning toward this. Option 3 is what you did, which is combine all life bars into a sort of winning versus losing view. And there are probably some other ones there. But yeah, I think just having 2 different life bars up here, one for your characters and one for the enemies. Then again, actually just having your characters could also be fine. And you just see that, oh, hey, I'm dying in this battle. I think that's okay. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I changed my mind to this. So let's mock that up because this should be pretty easy to do. Life bar container. Life bar battle system. On health changed. Team max life, team percent life. I see how this works. Sure. And then that's fine too. Something must render this somewhere. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, here it is. Instance, team's health changed. Team health changed. That goes into here. Life bar container, set up life bar. There it is. Update health values, yeah. So inside instance slot toolbar. Update health values. Current adventures max. Life equals 100 times current divided by current plus enemies. Okay, so what if we got rid of that? Team max life. Huh. Yeah, let me try this. And if this is how we'd want to do things, I think this would simplify some of the code here. So let's start a battle. And we might only want to show this when we minimize this. Okay, this is not working. I think how the component of life is current divided by... Oh, wait, this is... Oh, I see. Wait, how did that... Got it. All right, max adventures health. Just this. Harder to tell the progress of the battle? Yeah, it would be. And that's what makes me wonder, what would people actually care about when this thing is minimized? And it's kind of hard to put myself in the shoes of someone like that. So I think I need to test this out a bit. Okay, yeah, now this is working the way that I think it would. Let's try in the volcano. So now if I minimize this, we'll see this. My character should die. Yeah. And then whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to just maximize this. How's it coming along? So you had Kipoga on the flip playtest. It's going pretty well. Yeah, I just highlighted the keyboard part of that stream. Use the instance add team percent life directly too. Yeah. Yeah, so let me think about that a little bit more. So what would people want to see when the battle is minimized? They may want to know how many battles they've won or lost since opening the window. Good kit playtest? Yeah. Yeah, on Saturday, I wasn't expecting to stream this. It was just there was a sort of a joke. I'll paste this in chat. Hey, Leap Year Girl. Oops. I'm trying to tab this. Didn't work. Oh wait, I can't type the gold one. That's why it didn't work. Ah, you're a glorious subscriber, not just a subscriber. Hey, Cosmic Koi. All right, well now I gotta prove that I at least have some of them out there. There we go. Yeah, so anyway, this could be what we show. Maybe we show like the player life bar and then something like win percentage. I mean, probably it'd show 100%. It wouldn't show you how far along you are in the current battle. And then it kind of makes me wonder, do we show that? Like progress, X%, odds of winning, Y%. I think it's just the progress that you'd care about. In which case, there is another option, I guess, which is just show the enemy life bar. Consolidated enemy life bar. If we did that, then you'd be able to see that it's not hitting 0. I guess I would tell you even more information. So we could do something like that. Current enemies health divided by max enemies health. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe show average DPS and calculate it using combined healing and DPS. That give you a good indication on your team's strength. This is not meant to indicate your team's strength. We do have a DPS meter at the end of the battle. It's when you minimize your battle, how do you get a sense of what's happening? Like, are you winning or losing? And I think that's what players would want to know. So for example, here, if we minimize this, we can see the enemy's life is ticking down. Hovering over this would tell us the exact life values that we have here. But if this hits 0, it means that you won. And you can see how close you are to winning any given battle. If we go to a battle that we can't win, we basically just won't see that tick down. So let's do something like this and then minimize this. So now we're going to see this not go very far down, which is indicating that you're dying. I think showing some status message up here too would help. So now this is going to disappear. And yeah, the character's dead. Yeah, I think seeing just did you win or lose your last battle, won or lost your last battle, would be good on top of whatever else we do. It's hard to say exactly what though. And I don't like the aesthetics of having a life bar in the tab title thing up here. Another thing we can kind of do is use gradient text on Volcano. So it goes from green to red and then just put words after it saying you won or lost. Could also have the instance title be a gradient instead of showing an explicit life bar. I think you should look at how Crusader Kings or Europa Universalis does it. They have a very similar idea. Well, so remember, this is just for when you have this minimized, which I'm not even sure people are going to do all that often. And maybe some people do, and then I'm not totally sure what they'd want to see exactly, but probably some concept of like what happened in this battle window. So I think it is just you winning or losing. And then, yeah, maybe some sense of how close to that outcome you are. What if we showed kind of everything? 2 separate life bars. And then whether you won or lost. I mean, I feel like this is pretty important. It allows us. I mean, we might as well start another battle here so that I can see kind of both scenarios. I keep right-clicking that because it's a debug thing. All right, let's put this over here. Pop this out. Yeah, and I think I should write that down too. You should probably only see this if you have the battle minimized. So in this case, we'll win every one of these battles. In this case, we'll lose every one of these. The other thing that I think is a little strange is the controls go away as soon as the battle ends, which is why knowing the result is important. Maybe we should keep the life bars around. This is where showing adventurer life is easier because it persists. But does that tell you what we need? Okay. I can kind of see us doing that. So we do this, then we don't ever hide this fake health component. Something is listening for the life of this. Where is it? Lifebar.net, here it is. And then something hides the life bar. Oh no, it's freed. Oh, okay. Just imagine a scenario where I have like 4 battles going and I just want to get a quick overview of what approximate strength my heroes are at compared to their encounter. Maybe not very typical though. Well, so one, you can't have 4 battles going. 2 is that if you want to get an idea of how they're doing, you just look at the battle. Remember, this is just for if you have it minimized. And if you have it minimized and you want to know how the battle's going, like presumably you only would have minimized it once you knew how the battle was going. So I think it's good to think about these things in terms of what is a player playing Skeleseller thinking, not what is a hypothetical like RPG player thinking. And yeah, I think it's important to have played the game when you suggest these sorts of things. So you should check it out, definitely. And I say this in the nicest possible way, of course. But yeah, I do sometimes have to massage what people are saying to get it to work for Skeleseller, and it doesn't always make sense. Yeah. Yeah, so we probably shouldn't be freeing this. We can always show it if the battle is minimized. Did I already change this and then start it again? I don't think so. I guess let's save this. No, I did not. Okay, let's restart this then. So I want to see if that combined with like a win or loss indicator would be good. There are a lot of other things we can do sort of in between here. We could have a like semi-minimized battle window. So right now it's either the battle window is showing or it's just a title bar. But we could have a small representation. I guess that's our minimized view if we did that. So if we do this and we do turn this into a gradient, then it's possible that in some languages this is a very short word and the gradient isn't helpful. But I think it'd be a little bit better looking. And I think most people would just be like, I don't know why that's colorful. And when hovering over it, they'd see what it means. And that for the people who don't see it, I mean, that's the whole reason why you have maximizing the battle window. And you'd eventually see whether you won or lost. I don't know. I'm very torn. All right, let me write a comment on this. Or maybe I should write it here. Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm still unsure what we'll want feature-wise here. So I'm going to spew a bunch of thoughts. There are a few options for what we can show in terms of life. Just show adventurers, life of adventurers, just show life of enemies. Combine the bars into a single bar, like what you've done here, or show separate bars for adventurers and enemies. The issue is that I'm not totally sure what players will want to see when the battle is minimized. For one, I'm not sure why they even minimize battles. If it's just to move items around for a little bit, then they probably won't keep the battles minimized for long. If it's because, yeah, actually that's I guess the best point here is I'm not totally sure why are they even minimizing the battles? Because once we were able to move these, I just put these on the right side of the screen, and I feel like that changes the town into an aspect ratio that is much more usable. So putting them on the bottom of the screen allowed them to show at all times, but then you're taking up this, imagine this entire portion is taken up. So now your town effective area is a large and wide rectangle. But if you put it over here, it becomes more square. It's still a rectangle, but it's the sides are of closer to even length. So if you're minimizing these things, maybe it's that you wanted to keep them at the bottom anyway. But yeah, I'm not sure. Low contrast between the bronze of the battle window and the brown dirt ground. While minimized, it might make sense to color the border something very visible, like blue or yellow. Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit more apparent as you're moving the map around, because probably things aren't going to stay static, but still having this be visible or more visible could help. I have a wild idea, just an icon of the battle status, battling, what lost or won, and when hovering over it, shows a preview since it's in its own viewport. This is pretty easy to do. Yeah, that's not bad. Something like that we could potentially do. Or show no life bars and do something like this. Might have skipped a few seconds, but if you were talking about possible forest translations, that might be short. I know one language that has a translation with only 3 letters. Yeah, and then the other thing about that is there are languages where, like Mandarin, for example, where you can fit a whole lot into just a few characters. Now, with that said, that would just be one way of indicating the information. We'll always have the way of just expanding the battle, and then we'll almost certainly have a tooltip you could hover over. But yeah, a battling icon, something like this. This could be all we need to do. So it's not even, it's like a preview maximize. So if I'm understanding Kevin correctly, there'd be an icon here that just, it's like 2 swords clashing. So it's indicating that we're battling right now. There is no life bar. And when you hover over this, it acts like you temporarily did this. Maybe it even shows in a very tiny window. Although if it shows in a tiny window, we might have all that other stuff be tiny as well. Didn't even realize it'd be translated in other languages. Well, it probably will be. Right now, it hasn't been, but I think that's going to be important for launch. We'll probably need to target like 2 or 3 languages that we think are going to be best. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess let's finish writing this stuff. Not sure why they'd even minimize battles. Just to move items around for a little bit, then they probably won't keep the battles minimized for long. Also, I assume we'll want a very, I guess either way, since the battles will be minimized, they'll probably want to see at a glance what happened with the prior battle. Right now, the life bar is freed as soon as the battle ends. So you lose information about whether you won or lost. It'd be nice to see the result of the last battle, or even the last X battles, to get an idea of your win rate. And then other thoughts. Perhaps you should only see whatever we end up doing if you've actually minimized the battle, i.e. not if the battle is showing. Because the battle should tell you all the information it needs. Controls go away as soon as it ends. That's fine. As we're showing adventure life is easier. Could also have the instance title be a gradient. Yeah, this is like a nice little... Okay, so that's the thing I want to write down in this issue comment. But yeah, this is a good thing to have looked into for sure. Okay, so I don't think I've seen anyone new play the game while this was in the game, movable battle windows. But I do want to keep an eye on this and see how do people engage with these buttons. Anyway, I think that's that for now then. So let's go revert this and switch back to main. So I started to work on some stuff yesterday. And one of the things I was working on is, let me pull this up. I added an indicator that an NPC has something to tell you. So let's say you build the farm. Now the chef slime has a little exclamation mark, and the farmer themselves has one too. And if you click it, it goes away. And if you save and load, it saves the state. So this one's gone, but this one's still there because I never clicked this one. And this is just another little way where it's like, oh, people built the farm and there's a lot that just happened and they're like, what do I do? And now they'll be able to see this. So I made this. However, this is rendering in camera space. So if we fully zoom out here, you can see this is a little bit fuzzy. Whereas any other text that we render in the camera is in screen space actually, and it just gets positioned according to the camera. So I was like, oh, we should probably change this. It's not super important. Like the worst that this could look is like this. It's clearly blurry. And if you fully zoom in, you'll see it at a crisp level. Actually, even then, I guess there is still some upscaling happening. But anyway, this is pretty crisp. There's no mistaking this as an exclamation mark now. But when fully zoomed out, it might be a little hard to see. Looks like a recorder or a flute or something. And at 1x, I don't think you ever have this problem. Yeah, because here now there's no upscaling happening. So, yeah, I just don't think this is very important to focus on now. I have something in the stash about this. Making it get bigger, I think, is something we could potentially do. This stuff, yeah, this is all stuff we'll just bump down the list. This is like screen space text. All right, let's move this down here. All right, fade in extractor and chef slime. Let's do that. Town, create extractor. This doesn't fade in, huh? Interesting. Should fade in. We can just pass this in. Yeah, this is pretty simple. Bool should fade in. And we fade in the extractor. And then I think there's another call for this somewhere. No. The fishing pond builds the farm and the farm builds the extractor. So we never have a problem with that. I don't even know if this is going to be obvious though. It might be covered by the smoke already. I truly don't remember. So let's take a look. Okay, so it's not fully covered by the smoke, but we should probably just put smoke there. Then same thing for the chef slime, I think. Yeah, let's copy this. Should fade in. I mean, I guess this could go at the very bottom. And what, I had a blank line there, but with no text on it yet. Okay, so bool should fade in, and we're gonna fade in the chef slime. So that should work too. Oh wait, no, nothing's calling that. Whoops. There. And then when you load a game, you should not see that stuff fade in. It should just be there. Let's try this. So now we should see, yep, that faded into. Cool, let's save and load. It just starts there. That's fine. And now technically, I think there probably should be smoke on those areas. So let's try this again. And I'll try to take a picture. Darn it, I didn't get it. I gotta hold this down first. There. Okay, so here's where the smoke is right now. It doesn't really cover the extractor and it doesn't really cover the chef slime. So what I was thinking is we could just show an extra puff of smoke at the center of these two things and make it large enough. I think that'd be fine. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so where does it happen? Farm sign. Yeah. Let's create it here. And then we call build. This is going to actually create the... No, it's not going to create the building. This is going to create the building. And this can just make little smoke puffs. So sure, let's just do that. Get parent of this is wherever the signs were, which I guess smoke particles themselves know how to delete themselves. They probably do, and this is probably controlled by something in the animation player. Smoke. Animation player, yeah, Q free. Okay, so they get freed, so it doesn't really matter where we add them, as long as they look good. So here we're gonna put, I guess should fade in is whether you call this manually. So smoke particles, extractor dot position. These are gonna be pretty tiny. And where do we add them? Oh, we never create smoke particles outside of the town? Huh, AM2. Happy Friday. Huh, we don't. So we created in the signs node no matter what. I don't really think it matters too much. Do we have the signs node? We do. Is this truly the... Yeah, this should be the parent of those things. Okay, that's fine. Create smoke particle. What is it saying? Create farm? Create extractor. Here it is. All right, so signs. Yeah. All right, let's see if that's big enough. This is only for the extractor. I got to do the chef slime too, but if this one's big enough, then it's big enough for the chef slime. They're the same size. All right, so we're going to create this and look at where the extractor is. Okay, that was a very quick puff of smoke. It's probably fine. Yeah, I think it's okay. Let's put this here. Chef slime. This smoke clears out much faster though. Yeah, I think it looks good. I think we can even make the farm one create slightly smaller particles now. Let's try that. Oh, it's not going to cover the pipes, and the pipes technically appeared too. And they might not have faded in. I don't recall. I wasn't paying attention. They do fade in. Okay, but how's that look? Is this better? Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, I like that. All right, so fix creation or like polish creation of farm. It also creates the extractor and the chef slime, which are both now faded in. And they also have their own puffs of smoke. Yeah. Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Yeah. This is all pretty straightforward. All right, that's done. Start very first battle, undock it, move it, then close it without even finishing. Starting another battle should use the undocked or reposition location, but it starts docked. It's the second battle that does this. Okay, let me take a look at this. Instances manager. We store the positions somewhere. Hey, Noble, welcome in. This instance slot save status. And when you close a window, it should add this here. Yeah, it does. Okay, so let's put a breakpoint there. I'm doing well. It's been a pretty good Friday so far. How's it going for you? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so how do we test this? We gotta close this battle, undock and then close. Oh, that's the problem. This doesn't get hit for some reason. Oh, because we don't already have undocked positions. Custom keyboard? Yeah, this is a corn keyboard. Where do we add to this? Create new instance slot. Oh, okay. I think I'm just going to file a bug on this for right now. I don't think this is even super important. But yeah. So the issue is we start a battle. We move this over here. It's no, wait, that's not working either. Okay, now it got hit. I thought you only needed to do this twice. Hey, Caleb. It's going well. I'm not totally sure what we're working on today. I have some ideas and I'm not committed to any of them yet. So we're just doing some minor stuff until I find out what it is my brain is trying to lead me toward. So we create, undock, close. Create. No, that works fine. Oh, you have to move it. Oh, maybe that's what caused that. Okay, then maybe this is actually a pretty simple issue. So it's create, undock, close, create, undock, close, create, undock, close. This will never do anything different. Yeah. Okay, it's only once you move it and then close it that the new one's going to open there. All right, that's interesting. This looks sick so far. Thank you. Yeah. Oops. I'll just file an issue on that. So I guess bug, you have to move an undocked battle window for it to remember that it was undocked. I mean, that's pretty much it. The act of undocking a battle window should be, and then closing it, should be enough for the next battle window to use the undocked location. The repro is create a battle, close it without moving it, and then create another battle. Expected. Oh, wait, sorry, that's not it. Undock that window without moving it, and then close it without moving it. Expected the second battle window is undocked. Yeah. Okay. I spent the last 8 hours painfully going through a bunch of test cases and making my reimplementation of an existing function compliant, only to just realize that I made another oopsie. Uh-oh. Hey, have you heard my idea the other day that I think is a good idea? Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to assign to Kevin. The idea is that you play binary Sudoku to figure out how many oopsies you're going to make that day. So you go to, what is it called? Oh, hi. You go here and you wait for this to load. And then you click free play and then pick any size that you're going to pick every single time. Pick like a size 6 one and then just fill in the whole board and see, did it take you an extra long time to do? And if so, then you know that you probably shouldn't be coding. So I kind of want to try that for real at some point. I should bookmark it. In fact, maybe I'll write that down. Bookmark. Oh, hi. What is this game? It's just binary Sudoku. So the rules are pretty simple. You cannot have more than 2 of the same color in a row. So we have 2 blues here. So we know we can't have a third blue. So we put in yellows on the other sides. Every row and column must be unique. And every row and column must have the same number of blues and yellows. So kind of continuing with this, it's like we can't have 3 blues in a row. So we put a yellow there. We can't have 3 yellows in a row. So we put a blue there. What else? We can't have 3 yellows in a row. So we put a blue there. Every row must have the same number of yellows and blues. So we have 3 blues. We need 3 yellows. Ashton Mike. You know how many times I've done that? And I've called you Ashton in the past, and this time I didn't. I'm going to write this down so I don't do that again. I like the premise of that. Yeah, so anyway, the idea that I had was basically use this as a proxy for your brain power. Figure out if you should be coding by doing one of these and seeing if your average is like 2 standard deviations away. If I cannot play the game, I should never start coding. No, you can do this as a proxy for any brain-oriented task. So let's say you're, I don't know, planning a bridge. You're a civil engineer. You want to make sure this bridge doesn't suck. Play one of these games first and figure out, am I much slower than I normally am? Okay, I want to take a look into this, although I don't think this is going to be fruitful. But yeah, there was another Twitch streamer was trying the game like 2 or 3 days ago and played. Everything was fine, and then saved their game. And then yesterday they tried again, and their saved game had a whole bunch of issues. And I'm not sure what caused those issues. So they had to build their town hall again, which meant that when we loaded from the save file, it didn't have a town hall, but it knew about some perks. So there was definitely a save file. There's no way for it to not have a town hall, right? Oh my God, no, this does exist there. Okay, so then this must not have been true. I did ask for the save file, and I don't know if they're going to, yeah, I don't know if they're going to send that today or anything. I guess that's going to make it more obvious than looking through any of this stuff would. The only problem is, what if it shows that this is true? It won't be the save file before they had this happen. Unless maybe they didn't save over it. Yeah, I don't know. Are they just JSON files? Yeah, they're just JSON files. May have spent a couple hours playing this already. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice, like, when you are in the swing of things, you can mostly turn your brain off. It's kind of like Picross in that case. Like, they have rules, and you eventually get so used to the rules that it's just counting that you need to do and not memorizing the rules or anything. Is it a thing to use SQLite for game saves? It can be, yeah. There's no real need for us to change this, I guess. It's just a single player game. So having everything in just plain JSON allows people to edit it as they wish, but it's not really a problem, I guess. Yeah, I think this is dumb. I think I should just cancel this. We should just wait for the save file. All right, there was this one, though. This is something I think we can do right now. And this should be a pretty notable difference in the game. So right now we have this code right here, which is there's a timer with a random amount of time between 0.4 seconds and 1 second. And this is in the worker wander function. So basically, anytime a worker is just walking around, they'll take on average, 0.7 seconds to do something else. The problem is that if they've just done something, I don't want to incur this wait time. I want it to be instantaneous. Neil, why do you say, no? I've definitely seen games that have done that, and I think I myself have done that in the past too. It's all just whatever makes sense for your game, right? What game did I miss? Oh, the thing we were talking about? I was talking about this one. It's just binary Sudoku, which I think if you search binary Sudoku, that is what it's called, right? Does that show up? Yeah. They use zeros and ones, but it's the same concept, which is colors. More than happy to leave the reintroduction of the super janky diff subtraction system that I thought was not needed till tomorrow or Monday. Oh yeah. Well, you said you've been spending 8 hours. You made another oopsie. What I was saying is, at lunchtime, so presumably when you're roughly 4 hours done, if you weren't certain whether things were going well, that's a good time to test that out. All right, so I wrote this down. We need another component. So this would be like a worker state component. There's a worker state machine component, but we want to save whatever workers would have, which are shared by adventurers and customers. So this and this should look pretty similar. Let's just copy paste this. So this is adventurer and this is worker. Okay, so which ones are the same? This is different. This is different. This is different. So this is the same. This is the same. This is the same, and this is the same. Okay, so these are shared between the two. Worker wander, pick up item, drop off item. So what are these things? These are basically like someone who can hold an item, which is what we've been calling a worker. but they're not specifically a worker. So they're just for entities that can hold items, which are adventurers and workers. What do we call these? Item holder state or something like that? Item holders? So it'd be item holder state. Or item carrier. I mean, we could just call them workers. I think that'd be confusing, so I want to avoid that. I mean, what else do they do? It's like town entity. But then those could be customers. Huh. Hey, Venomous. Delete system 32. I mean, I'm on a Mac, so I don't have a system 32 folder. Idea of the battle preview doesn't work that well. The viewport gets paused while hidden. In hindsight, this makes sense, so the texture doesn't update. Pause while hidden. I mean, couldn't we just wait a frame and add it to a different part of the tree where it's just not visible, but it's not hidden? If that makes sense. It's not like visible in tree is true, but it's not on the screen. Hey, Alpine. Porter's interesting. I think I want to steer toward this and somehow indicate that they're yours. They're your entities, though. I mean, we could just say like worker or adventurer state. That would also potentially work. Binary puzzle solved. Well, so the point was, and I think you need to make an account for this. I'm not totally sure. I have the mobile app, so it keeps track automatically. But there's a way to have it track how long it took. Yeah, show elapsed time. And then it tells you what your average time is. So here, 36 means that this is the average time I took on all 4x4 puzzles. And actually, I don't think this is based on anything because I don't think I've ever actually completed a puzzle on the website version. So if we go back to that, yeah, it still says 36. I think it'll get updated if I, oops, there we go. So now it's 9 seconds. I wonder if I open up a new one of these, if it'll be 9 seconds again. Yeah. Okay. So it only keeps the average once you've actually done one. Otherwise, it just makes something up. My point was, once you've done 10 or 12 of these puzzles or something like that, you'll have a pretty good idea of what your average is. And then if you exceed it by, a factor of 2x or something, then you know, okay, I'm acting slowly. Not sure if stuff off screen does get updated. Maybe yes. I don't know either. I guess what you could do is you could just set it to a really low Z index. So it's on screen, but it's showing beneath everything. There are probably other ways of doing it. With that said, I don't know how important this is to do. Because if you ever want to see the battle again, you could just maximize the battle. It said bad. I'm guessing there's a language where it's like aha sort of thing. Yeah, I suspect, like, yeah, in Finnish it's oh yeah. Anyway, something like that. What else do we have here that I could come up with for this? I'm just picking up items. Will they eventually do other stuff though? I mean, they might. Yeah, so I guess binding it to this stuff is bad. Town entity. Specifically for your workers though. Well, we could bind it to this. Maybe like well, we called it worker wander. We probably should call it, yeah, something like worker state. Okay, and I'll just write a comment in it. All right, that's what I think we're gonna do. What other languages do I use? You mean coding languages? In Finnish, it's different. Okay, yeah. I just clicked a language. On stream right now, only C sharp. But I've been streaming for like a decade, and in that time I've used a bunch of other languages. In fact, I think I have a languages command. But yeah. Whole thing was blown to bits. Do you know why it was blown to bits? Because I was gonna say it could potentially help you to find out, and then you could address the why. If it just felt like it was too hard or something, it could just be that you need to tackle smaller problems. All right, so I'm gonna call this worker state. We're gonna make a new one of these. Component ID. So worker state component. State machine component. So we'll save this as worker state component. Do we need to save this off? No, I don't think so. All right, so worker state component. Wait, did that not even match? What was that called? Oh, no, it didn't. The file name is worker state machine, but this is just state machine. We should rename this. It should be called state machine component then. And then we should delete the other one. Worker state machine. Yeah, is that going to break anything? I mean, probably. Worker state machine. No, it didn't. Huh. Oh, making a stupid pun about it. Gotcha. Okay. I thought that originally, and I was like, I'm not sure. It's not super obvious to me. All right, so worker state component. What we want to store here is something like did perform action, or the opposite of this, which would be something like did have to wait. But let's go with a positively phrased one. So did perform action. We don't need to take in any of this stuff. Semicolon unnecessary. This stuff's unnecessary. Okay, great. So we have a worker state component now. Now what I want to do is add this to workers and to adventurers. So add component, new worker state component. And then same thing for adventurers. Good. And then inside of this component, inside of this here, we're going to get the wait time. Wait time is going to be equal to this for now. Sure, set this to wait time. But then we need to get their worker component, or whatever it's called, worker state component. Worker state component, WSC equals this. All right, so if they just performed an action, actually, yeah, if they just performed an action, let's set this to 0. And then if they just performed an action, then set it to false. And now we need to know all the places where they might have performed an action. So what are those? Those are the shared states. So let's go to pickup item. Oh, pickup item doesn't do it. Pickup item puts you in a drop-off item. Okay, so this is not a problem then. All right, so then what about the next one? Drop-off item. Drop-off item should definitely transfer to worker wander, but only when it's successful. Are we going to set this thing? Where do we put this? Drop-off item right there. Yeah, so here we're going to set that they have now done this thing. Did perform action equal. That was unexpected. Is equal to true. And that should be it for this. Yeah, that is. Okay, and then there's one more. Wait with item for available destination. Available destination. Worker wander. Huh, that's it? It was literally just that one? Okay, well, that was pretty easy. Yeah, that was easy. So we should go test this, but how do we set up a scenario to test this properly? We just need a bunch of things in the warehouse, I guess. Oh, wait, before we do this, we should test the old behavior. Yeah, let's just click grant most things a bunch of times. Now grant a bunch of workers. Well, that broke immediately. Worker state component. Who is the entity that has this? Debug print info. You're a worker. You're a wizard, Harry. So is this failing because I need to add this first? Might be. Coincidentally, I already did that for the adventurers. Let's move that up one more too. Not that it matters. It can be anywhere up here. Okay, so now what? Does this work? Yes, it does. Okay, great. So we do that, we do that, we do that. Oops. I forgot I was going to put them in the warehouse. No, wait, they would have already entered the wander state. You know what'll test this? The extractor. We turn this on, we turn this on. It might be working. Again, this is very hard to tell. Maybe if they have crops to get. So once they drop them off, they just turn around. They don't turn around. That's not good. Yeah, that's not good. Did perform action, set this to 0. Use the wait time here. Find item to pick up. I mean, technically, we don't even need a timer in this case. Yeah, we don't even need a timer, but this creates the timer as well. Oh, and the wait time is going to be used. Hang on a second. This inherits from base wander. Just add wander to location. Okay. So what happens if this fails? Find item to pick up. It just runs again. So in this case, what we're causing it to do is run on a 0-second time always. All right, that's not exactly what I wanted. I mean, we could set this low if we wanted to. But this is kicking the can down the road a little bit. All right, so do we determine that this is the best way to test this out? And then we just add in a bunch of workers. So they should drop this off and then not just keep wandering after that. And now it looks like everything's fine. Yeah. I think this is good. But I need to think of some other scenarios where this was happening. All right, I guess let's turn... Oh, that's already off. Let's just produce a bunch of potions and see what happens. So when they drop off an item, they should just turn around immediately and go get another one. Yeah. I don't have the money to afford this. There we go. Hang on 1 second, I'll be right back. All right, well, I think this is good. I think it'll make the workers slightly smarter, but it's only when they've just dropped off an item, and I think it was only recognizable to me when they just farmed a bunch of crops. Hey again, Lloyd. Yeah. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Now, I don't like that they're all picking different crops. We could eventually change that. But yeah, let's check this in. I need to write a comment for that, and I need to do this too. All right, there. Yeah, let's get our comment for the worker state component. This is set to true when the worker did something successfully, meaning their next action doesn't have to wait as long to figure out what to do. Can I share my keyboard layout? Yeah, hey, Mirkal. It's the thing that Matt just linked in. It's here. So I'm using a Colmac DH layout. And then, of course, since I have a weird keyboard, I've got a whole bunch of layers that make sense to me. But I have a lot of have a lot of kind of interesting keys that do different things based on which modifiers I'm holding. Where is an example of that? Something like this. Yeah, here. So like I have a button that if I hold shift opens a new window. If I don't hold shift opens a new tab. If I hold alt goes to the address bar. If I hold, that's technically command, I guess. If I hold command goes to my home page. Yeah. So, oh, and if I hold control opens up the find bar. So it's like there are 4 totally different tasks that it does that aren't really related. 2 of them are. All right, so this comment is here. We have our new UID file. Yeah, I think we just checked this stuff in. You two gave me a suggested video about a keyboard with 1,000 keys. Made me giggle. Giggle. Yeah, those are, I think, usually jokes. Like there are keyboards with a lot of keys that some people use for very specific functions, like video editing or something. But typically, I think that if your keyboard gets too big, you kind of throw the usability out the window. Then again, I guess there could be some like, I don't know, some accessibility reason behind it. Like the theory behind this keyboard is since so many keys do different things, you can hold one key to do another thing. Maybe there's someone out there who can't operate that way. Like maybe they don't have 5 fingers or they have some kind of pain when they try to hold one key and press another. In which case, yeah, maybe having dedicated keys for them would be good. Yeah, cool. Okay. So make workers act faster after dropping off items. Oh, and then that was the other thing I needed to write, which is this note, this state applies to adventurers as well. Basically anything that can act as a worker. And put this in these EM tags. Okay. This is most noticeable when harvesting a bunch of crops. Before this, workers would keep wandering beyond the chef slime instead of finding a new task to do. Cool. All right, well, there's no ignoring that this is the most important stuff and that the things we could tackle today would be either the intro or the music. And I think I might do the music in the afternoon. Also, I just found out, I was like, why is FL Studio so hard to use with multiple windows? There's a little arrow here at the top and you can choose detached and then just move this off screen. And I think that's possibly going to revolutionize my workflow when it comes to making music. Because so many times I have everything on one screen, but they're not OS windows, so I can't use my OS shortcuts. I have to use whatever FL Studio has, and it probably has shortcuts, but like, you can't rebind them apparently. Guess it's the office over again. Seriously. You should ask your office to just make one of those umbrella stands where anyone could take an umbrella and just eventually bring it back. I don't think you should ever have to sleep at the office because it's raining outside. Okay, well, I think we should tackle the intro. Yeah. I'll just grunt my disapproval right now. Perhaps have office bunk beds. Yeah, bunk beds. You definitely need that when there's only one person ever sleeping in the office. All right, where is the intro? Did I put it in the stash? Stash. Isn't there a list somewhere? List, yeah, there it is. Intro, there it is. All right, so get stash pop this one. Does it have any merge issues? No. Okay, I made some very amateurish intro to this, and then I got stuck. And I got stuck on something that wasn't even technical. I just don't know how to communicate what I'm trying to communicate here. And like I said, prep yourself for a very amateurish view of the. Wait, what? What happened here? Shouldn't main have been set to go to... Oh, I cut this out. Scene to load is game intro scene. Huh. Weird that I stashed that without that there. Maybe I was showing off the game to somebody back then. I don't even know when back then was. What, a week ago? Yeah, woo. What happened to the... What happened to the grass? Oh, was it never there? I don't think it was ever there. Yeah, it was never there. Universal problem. Yeah, yeah. It's, I think, especially hard in this sort of medium that I'm not used to using. Wait, did I get a message back from this person? No, this is from someone else. Okay, so where do we write this stuff down? Intro. Let's go find out. Wrote a design doc here. Stash the changes I was working on. Need to update art requests. Anything we identify from this? Yeah, I'd love to make progress on this. And I'm still not sold on this stuff. What are they saying right now? It's finally time for my very first quest. All right, let's go back to the drawing board for a little bit. So goal, communicate that you're excited to be an adventurer so that we set up your adventuring days to end very abruptly. We also need to communicate. Oh, yeah, but also before we do any of this stuff, I guess let's edit this. Adam is working on the intro to Skeleseller, on adding the intro to Skeleseller into the game directly. It's what will communicate that you were once an adventurer, got poisoned, couldn't find an antidote, and died. All right, so that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, we got to start with this and figure out how should we do this. Also communicate that it's your first quest ever. Pretty much, I want there to be the setup for, like, hey, I've never actually adventured before, which is very different from, oh, I've been adventuring for like 40 days. I'm a seasoned adventurer. We need to let you know that you're new to this. Yeah, the reason why letting the player know that the adventurer is new to this is because it's funnier if they die on their first day of adventuring, and also it's less believable if they're a seasoned adventurer and they die to poison. Less believable if a seasoned adventurer dies to poison. Yeah. Maybe we need to rewind and show you gearing up, or maybe getting the quest from an NPC, or waking up out of bed and then doing any of that stuff. You can show snippets and have transitions, or even show multiple scenes at once, sort of like a comic book. Yeah, like, what if we did go the you're waking up out of bed? More scratch. Scene 1 could be you waking up out of bed, saying, time for my first adventure. Then fade to... But you'd already need the quest, right? Did you go to sleep after getting a quest? I guess you'd wake up, time for your first adventure, and then you have to know someone already exists who has a quest for you. Maybe you go to the guild. Yeah, you go to the guild. Go to the guild to get a quest. It can even say quest accepted. poisons can be very deadly even to experienced people, but not in RPG world. In RPG worlds, you can get stabbed like 14 times and then sprint toward your enemy and cast a fireball at them. Logic has no place here. All right, yeah, it's reasonable to assume that the guild would always have a quest for you. So you pop out of bed, time for my first adventure, go to the guild, get a quest accepted, and then you walk into be a brief dialogue about killing stuff. You just show bats and snakes. Did I already write that I probably need to make special music for this? Do sound design for all of this? Probably want to cut the music and play a heartbeat effect. Oh yeah, this doesn't need to be custom music. Huh, interesting. It's not gonna be this. It's not gonna be this Gullet rap. Okay, I don't know. You run out of your house. No, I'd have to fade out. Maybe even just you waking up. I don't know. Some of those will make more sense as we do it. Yeah, you run out of your house, or you leave your house, go to the guild. Oh, you know what? Maybe it would help to just set up these scenes statically and see the storyboard from start to finish. I didn't think about that. That is a good idea. Okay, we can do that. Here, Amy. Totally into Skeleseller in development. Showed them Skeleseller rap, and my wife was there. They were impressed. They were wrong to be impressed. We had some friends over the other day, and my wife is like, "You should show them the Skeleseller rap." And I'm like, I'm not gonna stand there and have them listen to the Skeleseller rap. So I'm like, we can message it to them afterward. So we did, and they put a thumbs up on the message or a clap emoji or something. And I was like, this is why I don't want to share things with people. There's no like, yeah, that was funny or good job. It was a clapping emoji from one of the two people we sent it to. I'm like, they found it cringy. I know it. All right, I think this is a great idea. I think we're going to do this. We're going to mock this up. Intro work. Mock up static scenes for the storyboard. I think it'll make everything so much easier to figure out. All right, so let's go do this. We're going to do this very, very quickly. So I am not going to spend a bunch of time on trying to find everything that would make the most sense. So like we have the bed here, for example. Yeah, let's start getting this stuff. Why are none of these tiles lit up? Because we only got the tree? What? I wonder if I should do this in another scene altogether. Or... I'll just put it here for now. Hey, Dennis. Yeah, bars. Okay, so we're going to put that there. Yeah, we are going to need another scene for this. Or more environment layers. All right, let's do that then. So 2D scene, copy in our whole environment. Actually, we can just copy pretty much everything. All right, so base. We need a house. God, I can't click any of these things. Where's the auto set things up? There, done. Okay, so we can have an establishing shot of the house. And then it could like zoom in on that and show you. I want this to be fast. That's the problem. I want it to show you going from like you wake up, you get your first quest, and then you die. And I want all that to happen in like 20 seconds or less. Are all these self-made tiles? No, none of them are. I got this from an asset pack. Yeah, thanks for linking that in, Matt. Also, I think you'd live in a more modest house than this, but yeah, sure. Okay, let's put this in the trees layer for now, just to be kind of clear about this. So there's your house. We maybe zoom in on this, and we fade out, and then there's you on the inside. So we need something that looks kind of like a house. You look like the kind of person to have wood flooring inside. So let's do that. Unless there's a more obvious... Oh, wait, we have an interior set of tiles, don't we? I don't think we've ever used those. Let me go find those really fast. Pictures, super retro world. There should be an interior pack, I think. Interior. Yeah, here it is. Huh. Hey, Nitrix. Are you heading out, M2? Have a good weekend to you. All right, so we have some of these. This is not an interior. Oh, every pack screenshots, I see. Do we have any screenshots of just this? No. But we have this thing here. And this should suffice for us to be able to make anything. I kind of want to look at their thing online, but like I said, we're supposed to be mocking this up pretty quickly. So do I have this in the game already somewhere? Game, assets, world, exterior. No, we don't. Okay, so let's go make interior, which will probably only be used for this one shot. But still, let's put this here. And let's take this and plop this in here. Cool. How large is this graphic out of curiosity? 20 kilobytes. Okay, so it's not crazy. All right, so that was world.tres. I want to make a new tile map layer with a new tile set whose tile set contains the interior, which is there. Drag that into that, automatically create the tiles. Did that even work? Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, then let's go look at the interior pack. Super retro world interior itch. I do not want to apply any of my own brain for this. So we are going to have something like this, except for much smaller than this. Yeah, we can merge tile maps. And it's probably not a big deal. Like this is where I don't want to prematurely optimize. Gets to a boss, gets beat, wakes up, is a skeleton, boom, 20 seconds. I think we can cut another second or two off. You call yourself a speedrunner? All right, so this is my reference image that we're going to use. And I'm going to put that on my other screen. And we are going to get to work. We are expert drawers. Where's the wall? Here it is. So there's the wall. We need the ceiling. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. Let's not even figure this out. Whatever. Let's just get the floor. So the floor had this style. It was mostly blank. But every once in a while, I had one of these tiles. And there were some torches and stuff. We put a nice rug on top. I think one of the other tile sets also had a rug. Now we can just duplicate this. Interior 1, interior 2, yeah. All right, so put a nice rug on top of that. All right, now that's a classy room. Then we put a bed on top of the rug. This is how you sleep. It makes perfect sense. Wait, we had a larger bed somewhere, didn't we? Where are the large beds? Bed. I think you would sleep in a large bed. I think you're that kind of skeleton. This copied everything. I don't want everything copied. There we go. Large bed right on top of the... Oh, you can't center this. Oh God. Intro cutscene ruined. Okay, so this is your house. You have a nice little potted plant off to the side. Maybe over here. And then we need the skeleton to be over here too. Where art thou, skeleton? Main character. All right, and we don't have a first message. We just have this. Put you in bed. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right, there's scene number 1. Placement of the bed and the rug really triggers me. Actually, I guess we could just move this whole layer, right? Yeah, there. Oh, we can move it some more. We're not trying to polish this. Stop it, Raimi. Stop making me do this. All right, now we have a label. And it says something like, what was the quote? Line. Time for my first adventure. And it just runs right off the side of the screen. All right, there we go. Give this some outline and up that a little bit. Sure, just trying to make this legible. Yeah, much more aesthetically pleasing now with your wall-less home. Oh, now the plant's off in the middle of nowhere. This simply will not do. Is this even the layer that has this? Yes, it is. All right, take you. Why can't I select this? Oh, I see what's going on. I need to click that. This is not any better. There, now it's better. Perfect. Okay, so scene 1, you're waking up. Yeah, let's add another node under here, node 2D. So scene 1, drop all this stuff into here. And maybe even label this scene 1. No, we don't need to do that. Okay, so there you are. You leave your house and you go to the guild to get a quest. It can even say quest accepted. All right, so the guild. We can just instantiate in a guild, can't we? So this is going to be scene 2 over here. You go to the guild master. Make this editable. Make this editable. And make this visible. They got an exclamation mark, see? Whoa, we weren't expecting that. And then let's hide all the colliders that we have here. That, and yeah, we're looking pretty good. Okay, so you're going to walk over to here. So we need a scene 2. Scene 2. You go over to the guild. We put another main character here. We move you over to here. You're talking to the guild master. It is glorious. And you say, and well, no, not you say, it says quest accepted. What happened to my outline? Oh, I didn't press enter. Okay, so you wake up, time for my first adventure. You go to the guild, you get a quest. And maybe they even have a little chat about the snakes and stuff you're going to kill. In fact, we could do that, right? We could add in the thought bubble graphic that we have. Thought bubble. Oh, we can't do it like that. How did we do this for item desires? Desire. I have no idea how we did that. All right, let's search for thought bubble 2. This is used in thought bubble scene. Thought bubble. Oh yeah, also let's save this so I don't mess this up. Intro mock up. All right, thought bubble. We have an animated sprite here. Okay, let's go add that in. Thought bubble. And then inside the thought bubble, we put a snake. Wait, we only have a snake buddy? Who poisons you? It's supposed to be a snake that poisons you. Mm. Hey, Beer Hunter, how'd you get the colored folders? You right click and go to set folder color. By the way, thanks for the review you left for Skeleseller, or not the review, sorry, the feedback that you left for Skeleseller. I am trying to remember really fast what you had talked about. I know you said you stopped after about 40 minutes. I don't know if this game would probably ever capture your attention more than that. I don't think we're going to make enough changes to probably affect it, but it's still good to know these sorts of things. So like I said, I appreciate it. Do you have a non-walking going up sprite for skeleton? Yeah, we do. Like I said, this is all just quickly mocked up. I need to do this and then pause it at the right frame. Yeah, there. So like we can use that. But again, this is all very, very fast. We'll obviously polish this and put a lot of details into this. But yeah, for now, we're not going to do any of that stuff. Yeah, the whole point was you're supposed to get poisoned by a snake, but I don't think we have a snake enemy. I know we have the boss snake. Okay, you could technically get poisoned by a scorpion, I suppose. Or we could just draw a snake. Or even like this. This doesn't really look like a snake though. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. For now, let's just get something. Something that can poison you. So like a scorpion, or what else is reasonable? Maybe this worm, maybe even the slime. Yeah. It could even be a slime. Okay, let's just take one of those. Gonna have a hat and still be a skeleton before he dies. Turns out he's always a rogue. Necromancer's failed experiment. You know it. Oh, we also had a skeleton enemy. I think we don't use this anymore. Oh no, we do. Just the colorful ones, not those. All right, so slime. We need to go get a slime. So let's go add in sprite 2D. And we will add an atlas texture. And this will be a slime. Since you're going to be fighting in the forest, it should probably stand out. So maybe the blue slime. And then let's take this region. So 16 by 20. Okay, so now that goes into here in the thought bubble. And we reset the transform here. And then we would do one of those. I need you to kill a slime. Oh man. Would they have two thought bubbles? Because I was thinking like slimes and bats, but maybe they only want you to kill the slime. But I thought you should get into a fight with a bat so that it shows that you can kill more than just what you're told to kill. I don't know. Let's put a bat in here too. Wait, that's not gonna work. I gotta do it here, and I gotta hope that that doesn't change the original one. Did it? Yes, it did. Okay, yeah, then get rid of that. All right, so make this unique, and then do this and that. Yep, cool. Okay, so we could actually do. This is why I'm mocking this up is kind of interesting, because we could have it animate the two different enemies here, and they're basically asking, can you kill them both? Alternatively, we can make the thought bubble bigger. No, that doesn't work. Oh, because this is a sprite, not a 9-patch rectangle. All right, well, we could just increase the size of this thing. But if we do increase the size of this, then anyway. I agree. Click away games are not my thing. Not enough to keep my brain active. Have to constantly be thinking and doing something. Yeah. And it's kind of interesting as a game designer to figure out from the feedback who might be your target audience and who might not be. Because I think there are certainly people who would be in the target audience, but just need a couple of like minor changes. And then other people who are like, they just want a different game out of this. Hey, Thomas. Doesn't tell you about the cronies you're killing along the way. Yeah. Yeah. Would it be confusing at all if he's like, hey, I want you to kill this slime thing, and then you fight a bat first? Or maybe you don't even fight the bat. Maybe you only go fight the slime thing, and the slime poisons you. You die in your very first battle. I hadn't thought about that. We would shave off some time that way too. In fact, we could just fade to black and then fade back in, and you're just in a battle with this thing. Wouldn't you be absolutely terrified if you find yourself to be a skeleton? Yes. Also, just to be clear, you are a human right now. I just don't have a human graphic yet to render for this. Although, actually, maybe we do. Let me take a look at that. I think it might be... Oh, yeah. Wow, look at that. We do have it. Okay, so then I should be putting this in for sure. This is you before you died. You still have your signature cloak. Okay, well, we need to do that. So let's, I don't know, let's go get main character and change this up. So up here, you're waking up out of bed. It's not even an animated sprite. It doesn't need to be. Let's just do sprite 2D. Died on your first battle. Welcome to Skeleseller. I mean, that is what happens. All right, before, what did I call this? Pre-death, not before death. Okay, so this is going to be a new Atlas texture. And we put this here. And we need them sleeping. So they're going to be facing to the right and not in the walking animation. So 0, 16, 30, no, 0, 20, 40, 16, 40, 16, 40, 16, 16, 20. Drat. That didn't work. All right, how big is this? It's 48 by 80. No, that should have been correct. Oh, wait, no, wrong way. Yeah. 1640. That's what I meant. Cool. Okay. Yeah. There, we got that. So now I put this here with the label here. Copy the transform of this. Copy value. Paste over to this. And delete this. Ah, you're asleep. Okay. Now we do the same thing down here. Except for this one needs to be made unique. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. And then we want the one facing up. So it's going to be down another row. Yeah. And then put you over here. And delete that. And delete that. All right, not too bad. Main character. Main character. Okay, so the guildmaster wants you to kill a slime. And you accept the quest. So now we cut to a battle. Let's move some of this stuff out of the way, I guess. Oh yeah, do we even show you a house at the beginning? We could like zoom in. I don't know if we need to do that. I'll just copy a thing here and say we could show your house from the outside, zoom in, then fade to and from black to the next scene. Yeah, and then auto wrap word. Put that here. Okay, so that's technically like scene 0.5. I don't know if we need that. But then showing you waking up and being excited is definitely needed. Oh, what happened to the label there? Oh, this got way down there for some reason. There we go. Time for my first adventure. Word wrap this. And then shrink this. And maybe this would be centered. I don't know. Yeehaw. Rather see a short transition screen of you walking between the guild and the battle than starting on the house and having a zoom in if you want to cut on time, as it tells a bit more story. Yeah, I think just having you wake up here. If we showed the house, I think we need to say something like some narrative intro, something like you finally earned enough money, ... And then scene 2 would be like, yeah, time for my first adventure. Although we wouldn't really say what the money's for in that case. So yeah, we probably should skip this. And I'll write that here, I guess. Let's take label settings, new settings, set the font size to lower. Leaning towards skipping this. Yeah. All right, so time for my first adventure. You go over here, quest accepted. Now you go into the forest. So we add in, whoops. We add in scene 3. So now we want the main character to be facing right. That would be the third row, so like this. And maybe, anyway, they'd be animated. But let's put them over here. And they got into a battle against the slime. Where is this? There it is. All right, flip H. Then we need some life bars. Yep. Actually, that's the main character's life bar. And then same thing, a life bar for the slime. And we don't have a way of rendering that this character is a hurt. But what if we change the value of this to be lower? Does that work? Yeah. All right, so something like this, you're killing the enemy. You would actually have taken a little bit of damage too. The whole point was that you wouldn't come out totally unscathed, but you definitely win the fight. So yeah, maybe it's like that. But you get poisoned. So let's see where we are here. So it's a transition, narrative text, what you're getting a quest. Yeah, so that's what we ended up doing. We got this. You're leaving your hometown, start my first quest, walking into the forest. Yeah, okay, so you encounter a bat, show your life bar and the bat's life bar, show the two characters attacking each other. You kill the bat in like 2 swings. The bat does 10% more damage to you or something. You could be a mage. It could be 2 bats. Oh yeah, it could be a bat and the slime. I don't think it really matters though. We could have the attack animation be a swoop instead of how it looks like in the game battle. Show dialogue easy. Easy. Easy clap. We just put the Twitch emotes right in the game. I still think that's hilarious. All right, so then you encounter a snake / slime, show your life bar and everything, show the two characters attacking everyone. The snake bites you. Zoom in and slow down on the text poisoned, and show a poison particle system on the main character. Show you beating the snake. All right. So at this point, we need to show a battle taking place. And then you eventually get poisoned, and we really want to zoom in on that. Maybe you kill this thing in 2 hits. So the way we kind of choreograph the battle scene. Maybe we get rid of all this stuff. So you deal like 55% damage to the slime per hit. So you attack first. The slime attacks. We zoom in and slow down on the text poisoned and show a poison particle system. You attack and kill the slime. Would you run from it after being poisoned? Isn't the final boss going to be the snake? Yeah, the final boss is going to be the snake, and that's where you'll get your first real antidote from. I do think you should win this fight so that you're not running back to town with a slime chasing after you. Like, presumably you wouldn't think much of it. You would have lost probably this much life. You know, most games that wouldn't make you turn around necessarily, but yeah, you got to get poisoned and you got to kill this thing. And now what? After beating the slime, keep the life bar on screen, show your life ticking down, show dialogue, I don't feel so good. Show your character going back the way they came from. But the thing is, the guildmaster wanted you to kill a slime or many slimes, I don't know what, and you just did kill the slime. So you're done with your quest, but you're also going to die. So there are 2 reasons for you to turn around. So maybe you're not actually paying attention to the poison at first. Also, we should put the poison particle system on here. Do we have that poison effect? Yeah. Nice. thought the slime was just a placeholder for the snake. They might be. So I'll show you. I don't know if we have this graphic in the game already. Let me see if I can find it. There's a snake boss somewhere. No, we don't have it yet. Do we have it over here somewhere? Create intro cutscene. That's weird. I know Quickie Joe drew it. Oh, you know where it might be? It might be on here somewhere. No, it's not. Oh God. All right, hang on a sec. I'm gonna search Discord in a second if I can't find it from this. Yeah, I can't find it from this. All right, let me search Discord. Okay, snake. Okay, I found it. Here it is. Save image. Big snake. Got it. Okay. Now let's go put that in the game folder. Downloads, big snake. What this is only used for now. Yeah, so this is the graphic we're going to use for the final boss. This is bigger than the regular graphics and that it's 16 by 16. And I really like how this looks. I think this is great. So we're not going to have you kill this thing at first. This is amazing. Yeah, this is awesome. What would you say has been the most challenging part of the developer journey making Skeleseller? I think it's finding the core gameplay. I think has been the most difficult because it took us months to do this and it was a lot of just like feedback, iteration, more feedback, more iteration. Because this game started as it was just supposed to be like automated Final Fantasy 1. And this is what this looked like. I spent 3 weeks prototyping it. I just tried to cut every corner possible and just see is that idea fun of like automated Final Fantasy 1. So we had a start new game, you picked your character that you wanted. And then you could move around in the overworlds, you manually controlled things, you can get into battles. And the battle system is kind of like what it is now, except for you did start by manually clicking things, just like you do in Final Fantasy 1. So like you're choosing, do you want to poison an enemy or use these other skills you have? And eventually I'm going to win this fight. Wait for it. Okay, cool. So we won, we leveled up. And now in our skill tree, we can get this automation skill. So now when we get into a battle, there's a 25% chance that it just picks for us. So like right there, I didn't even click. It just used the ability. And as you level up, you get more and more of that skill that's going to use abilities for you. So that by the time you've gotten to level 4, which is going to take me some time. I don't know if I coded some hack into this. By the time you get to level 4, you're fully automated. And now you're not picking choices anymore. And it just turned out this just isn't that fun of a game. So that's what made us pivot to Skeleseller. But even within that, we still didn't exactly know where this stuff was going. And yeah, it took a long time to figure that out. I'm trying to get to... Okay, we leveled up one more time. So now we have 2 points in the automation skill. And now it should pick half the time what it should use for us. It did not pick there. Anyway, this would obviously continue. And then eventually you unlock new adventurers somehow. I don't know how you do that. How do you do that? Move camera, E or T, M opens a save menu? Save menu? Whoa. How do you get a new character? Oh, I think you had to get to a certain level. Anyway, like I said, this wasn't fun. Yeah. We also we started in April of 2024, and it wasn't until I want to say like February of this year that we had the farm, fishing pond, etc. Like the farm was probably the biggest positive change we made for the game. I didn't realize how much of an impact that would have and how much people just like sort of got it and liked interacting with it. And it's not like it's super complex or anything, but again, it was just like we needed that idea at some point. So yeah, I think that was the hardest part. And then beyond that, it's all the like it's just all the decision making you have to do. And I think this is true for running sort of any business, but think of like who's going to work on the project, how do you set up a contracts with them, what's the game going to look like. Someone at some point needs to figure out all the gaps that you have. Who's going to make the music? What's the music going to sound like? What's the UI going to look like? And maybe you have people working on this stuff and maybe you don't. Maybe you need to go get the skills for that. So yeah, all of that stuff is also kind of annoying sometimes because it's like it's like at the end of the day, I want to just develop a game and it's nice to have a blueprint for it, but someone needs to make that blueprint. Even this that you're seeing me do, for example, like I don't have experience telling stories in this way. I have written stories, but I have not like animated stories playing out, I guess. And that's why I'm storyboarding this in the most basic way because I just thought maybe this will help. And yeah, I think this is actually pretty good. All right, so what do we determine for this? So you attack, they attack, we zoom in and slow down on the text poisoned. I think we need to show the poisoned text, but I don't know if we should make it seem like a big deal at first. Maybe it's after you kill the slime that then you say, I don't feel so good. And we show your life bar ticking down. So yeah, we should add in some text here. Poisoned. Okay, and then should I just duplicate this whole thing and show that you've won the battle? No, I think we can just assume that's the case. So you win the battle, and then we show the character saying, I don't feel so good, and having an antidote and a thought bubble. Maybe it's just the antidote and a thought bubble. Like anywhere we can cut down on text, I think would be great. Here, I think just having time for my first adventure is totally fine. Then coming over to here, they have this little thought bubble pop up, and then quest accepted can appear. I think that's fine. Then you're here fighting. You get poisoned, but you win. And then your life bar is ticking down. So I guess let's make a scene 4 here. Reparent to this. Wait, what? I don't know if that does what I wanted to do. So let's just click this because I know that this does what I wanted to do. All right, so move the whole scene 4 over to here. I guess put some more of this base here. Cool. Text labels are more like narration. I think I'd say that the text is for a character speaking. So in this case, you might actually reasonably say to an empty room, time for my first adventure because you're that excited. But here, no, actually, I don't know. Okay, well, whatever. We'll figure that out. All right, so now you've killed the slime. That thing's dead. And you're poisoned. But now you say something like, I don't feel so good. Got to get out of these woods. No, just I don't feel so good. That W keeps appearing because I'm trying to click this, which has the shortcut W. Move this whole thing to the side, I guess. So I don't feel so good. You would have turned around. And then show an antidote and a thought bubble. A large yellow potion. Okay. So where's our thought bubble? Here. Let's put this on the main character. Move this over to here. Why won't it move? What is this red line that's appearing on screen? Oh, there it is. Whoops. Excuse me. I have a hiccup too. All right, so now we want to show an antidote in here. Really just a potion. We don't have any specific antidote image yet, but this doesn't matter because we're just mocking this up. Items, put this in here. Cool. All right, so we want the large yellow potion, like that one, I think. It's going to be pretty hard to just eyeball that, so let's go find out where it is. Okay. Where are you? You were at what, 274? 274 divided by 16. No. So it's this. 272.16. Okay. 272.16. Well, that was easy. All right. So you know you want a potion. And your life is starting to tick down even more. So if I change this, is this going to modify the other one too? No. Yeah. So your life is dropping. And then you get to the final scene where you're about to die. Character makes it to town. There's a potion vendor with potions on display. They approach a potion vendor and ask for an antidote. You keel over and die. And the shopkeeper says, we have lots of health potions to your dead body. I still love that. I want that to be there. Okay, so now you make it to scene 5. Scene 5 is you practically dead. So now your life bar is like down to there. And I don't think we need this label right now. What happened to the... Oh, right. I got to move scene 5 over to the side. All right, so now you encounter a shopkeep. Shopkeep is here. Yeah, so let's copy paste this into this scene. And then put this over here. All right, and then the main character needs to face up. That is the final row. I guess make this unique. 1660, yeah. Okay, so you're over here. Hope we learned enough live by now. Yeah, we did. Now we're just doing. Atypical. You gotta constantly quaff health potions to stay alive. Yeah. All right, so you ask for this, but they don't have it. And this shouldn't say slime, this should say potion. Potion. So now they themselves have a thought bubble that would have an X over this. Now we don't have an X, but we have a close button. So let's add in the close button, I guess. Sprite 2D, new, whatever. Search for close. No, it's not close. What is it called? X? What's the name of the close button? Icons. Cancel. All right, now we shrink that down. 0.125. Be even smaller than that. Hey, that worked pretty well. Okay, so we show this over here with probably a modulate of red and a little bit, I don't know, something like this. This is, we'll make something that looks better than this eventually. But for now, I think this is probably good enough to indicate like, nah, I don't have a potion. And we animate this fading in, I guess. So it doesn't look so bad. Yeah. Ew, please. All right, then your life bar ticks down. Have they never sold it, or are they out of stock? They've never probably sold it. Actually, would they have? How does this make sense? What world would it be where there are slimes just outside of town and they poison adventurers and everyone just dies? I guess they're just out of stock. Yeah, they're just out of stock. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense otherwise. All right, so you ask for this, then you die. I don't know if we have the graphic of when you're dead, although we have something close, I think. Let me go find this really fast. Game team as image. Give me a sec. This would have been from a while ago. Let's go to page 10 and see if I can find it through this. Oh man. I'm only looking through images that were shared, but there are just so many images that have been shared that it's kind of hard to find. I mean, there aren't that many pages of things I have to look through, so I should almost be done with this. But yeah, sorry, I'm doing this off screen. Dragon, new skeleton. He did like a whole animation of this. Oh, I found it. I found it. Yeah, so if you take a look, this was an animation of a character drinking a potion and then dying and coming back as a skeleton character. If I duck a little bit, you can see the last couple of frames there. So we should save this. And maybe put that inside the... Oops, what happened there? Put this inside unused for now. And then maybe we can use one of those frames. Yeah. All right. So now you're dead. Which one's the best death one? You already be a skeleton. It's kind of gruesome. Oh man. Yeah, we didn't have the potion in front of their face. You could probably use one of the other ones. I'm gonna use this one for now though. So let's take this. Where does this end? 416 divided by 16? 26. Yeah. So 416. So from here over to here. I think this is right. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so let's say this is just a single. We don't even need to do that. What am I doing? All right, so you talk to the shopkeep. They don't have a potion, and then you die right next to them. We need to get this and draw out some more of that. Oh, what? What? What am I doing? There. All right, so scene 6. Going to be off to the side over here. There are not going to be thought bubbles anymore. Because you are dead. Life down to 0. New graphic for you. New Atlas texture. $4.16. And I guess the poison would be gone from you now because you're dead. Yeah, you can't still be poisoned in death. You're just a heap of bones. And then the shopkeep says, I had plenty of health potions. And then this won't work because this needs to be changed into a rich text label. And maybe we do this and this and this. Okay, then it fades out. Okay, so how many scenes do we have? One, two, three, four, five, six, but not really. This is all kind of just one, and this is all kind of just one, two. So what I'm wondering is if we were to show this sort of thing as a kind of like a montage. So they're not just connected scenes. It's just you waking up, you say time for my first adventure, fade to black, fade back in. You're talking to the guild master. You see animations for this stuff. So like, oh, pop up a thought bubble, slime, then you like, I don't know, have a thumbs up or something. Quest accepted. Cool. Fade out, fade back in. You're now fighting that slime in the forest. You get poisoned. You see your life tick down. You see you attacking this thing. Cool. Fade out, fade back in. Or actually, no, I guess this will all be one scene, so you don't need to fade out. So now you just say, I don't feel so good. You walk back toward town. Then we fade out. You come over to here. You're at the shop. You're nearly dead. You still see your life bar ticking down. You ask for an antidote. They don't have one. You keel over and die. And then they say, oh, I had plenty of health potions. Then from there, you will end up in the town itself. So let's just take a screenshot of that from the game and use that as our final scene, I guess. Oops, that's not gonna work. Okay, hold on. Let's go fix that. Scene to use here. All right. So then the final scene is you walking across the bridge into Skeletown. Maybe we even have like a... Oh, wait. We got it. Yeah. Hang on a second. Maybe we even have like a 1 month later sort of thing. No, we got to show you turning into a skeleton, right? Yeah, we got to show you turning into a skeleton. Oh, also, this is how we can do dialogues. I forgot about this. They don't just have to be labels. Although you wouldn't need to confirm them. Although we could hold up the... No, I think having you not confirm it means people might actually read the very little text that's in there. But yeah, so this sort of view is what the next scene would be. So I'll just take a picture of this. And we'll save that. Export as Atom temp intro final part. Okay, so now let's go find that. Intro final part. Well, this is an unused because it's not going to actually make it in the game. And then just slam that down over here. So this would be scene 6 or scene 7. We delete all this stuff. And then add in a sprite 2D whose texture is going to be intro final part. Okay, now that's bigger than the rest of the entire intro scene itself. So we'll just make this smaller, like 0.25. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. Hey, Shoe Strikers. Did Twitch have the captions working before? Yeah, I've had captions for a while now. I've seen connecting the two where you get up, perhaps to the earlier text of you have unfinished business coming from some sort of deity. Also, let me know if I'm too much into the details. Well, I think we need to show you... Okay, in my mind, there's something missing from here and here. And I think we need something missing from when you die to how you become a skeleton and why you start a town. It could be that it's nighttime and you become a skeleton. It's nighttime, the shopkeeper is gone, and you become a skeleton there in the dark. You say something like, huh, that was unpleasant. Time to start a town. I don't know what is going to connect that. Yeah, there's something missing. It's not enough to convey that you wake up as a skeleton. I think the player needs to see you get up as a skeleton, and you do like a 1 month later thing, where you walk up to the guild. Um, yeah, or some like, yeah, I think we need to see when you come back as a skeleton, and then we need to know. Yeah, your motivation is pretty much just this. We could have gotten a never die curse in a previous dungeon. No, but this was your literal first battle. Like you weren't even really an adventurer before that. And we don't totally have a reason for why adventurers come back as skeletons, but that's just a thing in this world. And that's actually how the tavern works in the game. So when you finally unlock the tavern, it says lets you complete other skeletons' quests in exchange for their services. They'll join your town as workers. And all of the quests tell you about how they died. So yeah, we don't know why, but all adventurers turn into skeletons and for whatever reason are fine just with eternal servitude. It's fine just having something be like that. I think showing you turning into a skeleton, I think is good. And then I think something to indicate like why you went and started a town. And we could have it be narration over this. It could say something like, with your life now behind you, you set out to start your own town and sell antidotes so that no one else will ever die in the same way. I don't really like this. You get your money from the guy who gave you the quest. I think we'll leave that as an implied thing because chances are if you were dying from poison and went back to town, you probably wouldn't go get money first. And you probably would have needed some money to start your adventure. But yeah, how do we do this in the most succinct way, I guess? Let's go add one thing in here. So I had plenty of health potions. Then I was thinking it's nighttime. The shopkeep is gone. So maybe this is really scene 8. And we duplicate this. So that's scene 7. We move scene 8 off to the side some more. Scene 7 gets moved over to here. I don't know how we'd make it clear that it's nighttime. But now the life bar, I guess, would be gone. The potions would all be gone. The shopkeep would be gone. The label we might still want. And then you would turn into a skeleton. So new atlas texture. Quick load. Worker main. And I want that one in the bottom. Actually, no, I guess it's at the top. Okay, so now you got to say something. Came back as a skeleton. Sword shop instead, and after you die, the shopkeep would say something like, I guess it makes sense to sell potions in these parts or something like that. I think if it's a change to the humor value, and I think this is possibly slightly funnier that they have potions, but not the potion, and the potion would have saved you, but not in the way that you wanted to be saved, basically. Mitch, thanks for the resub. Welcome back. Because you technically do start a potion shop in the game, but you don't have antidotes yet. And I don't know if you remember or ever knew the ending of the game, but the ending of the game is... Where is it? Yeah. So after beating the final boss, you get an antidote. An adventurer wanders into your town. They're slowly dying due to poison. You say, I've got just the thing, and run to get them the antidote. They drink it. They don't seem surprised or grateful. Of course, there would be a shop that sells antidotes. The final scene is an extreme zoom in on your skeleton's face as it gets angry. Cut to the credits. So you eventually do need to sell an antidote, but that's like the end of the game for you. So yeah, this is one way we could do this. I don't think this doesn't sell the whole like I want to make sure this doesn't happen to other people. Like, it's a shame I lost my life, but like as a noble goal, let's try to make sure this doesn't happen to other people. So this is like the noble explanation. This is more of like an aloof sort of, hey, I don't really care. My first plan was to be an adventurer, like time to go for the second one. I kind of want to communicate this because then at the end of the game, when you finally sell the antidote, it's like you worked really hard to get to this point. Like, you were intentional about it. You did all these steps. And I think we need to communicate that somehow. So yeah, what's the easiest way we could do this? I mean, we could have it say two things, like, well, that was unpleasant, followed by I'll make it my mission. I don't know, something like this. Put this down here. Whoops. I didn't even know you could do that. I'm going to make it my mission to ensure this never happens again. Happens to anyone else again. Something like that. Why is it still showing up like that? Well, that's why we're just going to change this really fast. Yeah, so this is too much writing, I think, but something along these lines. Starting over as a new Skeleseller. I think we're going to do challenge mode, so I think we're just going to have it be on rails and you just give the person your antidote. Yeah, no one should meet their end like this. Something like that's probably better. Yeah, and then we fade to here, where I guess we say something like 1 month later. Yeah, something like that. Here's the shop's first day, which explains why they only have 3 potions. I like that as a sort of an unspoken thing. Like, it's just everyone's first day in this town. They should have no clue what they're doing. You died, the shopkeeper, well, I guess let you die. But yeah, I want to put this in here. So, like I said, I'm pretty happy with this as the line right after you die, but it could have been something to the effect of, this is not a great first day for me instead. Okay, so anyway, we've got our scenes. Let's run through these again. So scene number 1, you wake up out of bed, time for my first adventure. It's fade from black to get here. So that's it. Now we fade to black again and then fade back in. We could do like a cross dissolve or something. I don't think we need to do that. And this is you walking up to the guild master who has a quest for you. They pop up a speech bubble. Remember, this is all going to be animated eventually. So just, you have to imagine that this isn't all just here from the beginning. So you walk up to the guild master. They have a quest. They get rid of their little quest icon and then say they want this done. You give them a thumbs up or something like that. And it says quest accepted. Cool. Fade to black, fade back in. You are fighting the slime. You hit them once. It takes out this much life. They hit you. It says poison. You hit them and kill them. But then at the end of the battle, you say, oh man, that's, poison's rough. You see your life ticking down. I don't feel so good. You walk back to town. So we animate you walking back to town. When you get to town, you have this conversation with the shopkeep about, do you have an antidote for me? And they say no. And then you die. And they say, oh, I had plenty of health potions. Then it's nighttime. You come back from being just on the ground. You're a skeleton now. And maybe we get rid of the, well, that was unpleasant part. Yeah, we probably should. Be as little reading as possible. So we just put that there. Okay, so yeah, it's nighttime now. The shopkeep is gone. The items are gone. No one should ever have to meet their end like that. And then fast forward 1 month later, I've got the land for Skeleton, but I need adventurers to do battle for me if only I had a guild. Cool. Is it canon yet that the hero is Skeleton? I don't know. It was kind of funny because I always said that one of the catchphrases would be sell a ton with this skeleton. And as a result, we were like, what should we name the skeleton? Maybe we should call the skeleton Skeleton. Skeleton the skeleton. And that's what Quickie Joe's been naming the files. So I sort of kind of like that, but if you died, I don't think you'd rename yourself in death. And I don't know if we ever need to give them a name. Yeah. Hey, TJ. How's everyone doing? I'm doing pretty well. We've made some pretty good progress here. I just storyboarded the intro to the game. And now what we do, and honestly, this will probably take several days. But now what we would do is we would go turn all of this into reality. Like make the house that this person lives in and put all the details in. Take care, Amy. Thanks for the suggestions. Yeah, so make their house, you know, get the cuts to whatever else we're going to do, animate all these individual scenes, and allow you to skip these at any point as well. So yeah, there is a lot of work to do for this. And just getting all this to look good. How many games in total have I made before this one? Like made and released very few, but I've worked on a bunch of games that I just haven't ever really done anything about. The last big game that I worked on was Botland, and it was released, but now it's no longer playable anymore. But this was a game where you made bots and then you gave them scripts, and the scripts told them what to do in battle, so that it was an auto battler, but you did control everything just ahead of time. It's a very nerdy, kind of interesting game. And then I had made this sort of like reverse tower defense game. This is in Scratch. The game itself was made in JavaScript. This that you see was inspired by Scratch. This is called Blockly. This is a thing that looks very similar to Scratch, but it's, yeah, these like puzzle piece coding sorts of things. Yeah, here we go. This is very funny. Snail, here it is. And then some other things that just never saw the light of day. There were a lot of incarnations of Botland before that. Where is that thing? Botland blog. I don't know how I'd find it. Maybe it's one of the newest posts. Yeah, this. Yeah, if you read just the newest post here, you'll see that Botland evolved over the course of like 10 years. It started as this weird Python version, then turned into a weird Java version, then a different weird Java version, then the JavaScript version that you see here, and then eventually it turned into what it is. Yeah, lots of little things along the way, some chat-oriented games. Yeah, this was like the biggest thing. This helped so much. I know storyboarding is a thing, but I was doing it through text. Storyboarding visually, gigantic win. I think we got to write that down as a takeaway. If we ever do this again. Storyboarding with static, rapidly mocked up scenes was amazing. I did it right in Godot. So positioning, reusing, etc. was pretty simple. It helped me fill in the blanks in a way that the text storyboard didn't. Now, again, the reason you do any of this stuff is so that you can find problems and fix them in 2 minutes rather than go code the entire scene and be like, uh-oh, we left out a scene and then everything needs to change. So we should look over this one more time and just make certain everything looks good here. First of all, how many words do we have per scene here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. 1, 5. Yeah, and then some more over here toward the end. You could always skip this if you wanted to. So not too much. And let me try modifying this slightly too. What if we said, I'll see to it that no one meets their end like that. All right, which one of these is shorter? Okay, obviously the first one. I like this because it's more of a mission statement, I guess. See to it that no one dies like that. Dies like that again. Okay, well, changing text is not that hard to do later, as long as it doesn't drastically alter the sort of story of everything, which it wouldn't. So let me look at this one more time. So yeah, time for my first adventure. You get up out of bed. And we'd be doing this with a lot of like transitions, fade to black, fade back in. So we're playing out the story very rapidly, and I don't know if it's going to feel jarring to people. If you go from there just straight to now you're in front of the guild. Like other games would have you walk outside, walk to the guild. I don't want to do that. I think just fading out and fading back in is going to be very, very quick, and it'll hopefully be clear. And as long as these have enough of an establishing view for you to see what's going on, like, oh, there's a quest giver, and oh, that's the guild. So this must be where I'm going to get a quest. And sure enough, yep, quest accepted. Then you get into the battle, you win the battle, but you're dying. You head back toward town. You get to the town, you have a conversation with the potion master about getting an antidote. They don't have one. They make a joke about your poor dead body. You come back from the dead. So, okay, yeah, this is where there's maybe a little bit of a gap. We can show you that you came back from the dead, but we don't say why that happened. So, like, one thing we could do is there's a little, like, glowy spirit thing that goes into your body, and that's the explanation. No, that's still not really explained. Or it could just be that, I don't know, your body glows or something and you come back. It'd be funny if you pop back up and instead of saying any of this stuff, it's just wet. I'm not gonna do that though. All right, then yeah, we go to this. Okay. Yeah, I think this is pretty reasonable. So we should probably start filling in some fidelity here and there. What time is it? It's 11. Purgatory, non-religious version. I mean, it's something we'd have to communicate with almost no words. Hey, Darth Maul. By the way, sorry if I'm killing the flow of the process, but if I remember correctly, you created your own custom keyboard layout, right? I'm thinking about learning a different layout for programming, currently coding JavaScript. I want to ask your opinion. Should I start learning the old school Dvorak, switch to something like Graphite, Gallium, Modern Alc, or just stick with QWERTY? So here's my take after doing all this stuff. If you have any hand pain or, yeah, hand or wrist pain, maybe consider it. And if you never learned how to type properly, maybe consider it. Otherwise, just stick with QWERTY. I think that if I did just like a, like top 100 English words, if I did a typing test like this, my speeds are probably pretty close to QWERTY, but I feel like my actual typing has slowed down. Although part of that probably has to do with using this keyboard and that I don't have dedicated keys for everything. So basically, like, did I gain a lot by switching to Colmac? I don't really think so. And it seriously was roughly a year of getting back to the speeds I was mostly at. And if you haven't seen this video that I've done, I do recommend watching this video, because this was a very honest take of how I ended up learning this stuff. I've probably heard that theme Monetic Bind, but I can't picture it off the top of my head. So I have listened to a lot of Final Fantasy music, even though I haven't played Final Fantasy 9. All right, like I said, it's 11. It's not quite lunchtime. I don't want to, like, lunchtime is soon enough. I don't want to start and then have a bunch of stuff I'm going to cut off here. We should probably start a new branch for this too. Yeah, now I can work from there. Okay, so make a new branch and start working on the various scenes. Yeah, and by the way, learning a new layout you can just do it for fun. If you just spend a week and you're like, how would this feel? I think that's fine. But I think committing to it is something that I just don't feel like I got a lot of benefit. And again, that thing that I wrote about if you never learned how to type properly, if you're typing at, let's say, less than probably 60 words per minute, starting from scratch and learning all the proper way of typing will probably get you faster than 60 words per minute. Now, will that benefit you in the long run? I don't know. It depends on what you're doing. If you're typing emails, and yeah, typing emails faster is probably going to benefit from having your a new layout or something. But if you're typing code, it's probably not going to benefit too much. And I even wonder, like, in 5 years, are people going to be typing as much as they are now? Are you just going to be using like dictation fueled by AI, and it pretty much knows every capitalization and punctuation that you want, and it types better than you would anyway? Although even then, I kind of wonder now that I say that, if you're typing emails all day, let's say, would you want to be speaking for 8 hours? Probably not. So maybe you will still be typing even in that future. It's just extremely cheery adventure music. I see. You won't be using that. Not a big fan of AI. Yeah, I don't know, for mechanical things like that, like dictation, I think most people, even the people who are against AI, would probably typically be for it. Like, think about your phone's speech to text. It's not like large language model AI, as far as I understand, but it certainly could be helped by that. And I know a lot of people tend to use this sort of thing. Maybe I don't know, they're out somewhere and or their hands are cold and they can't type because they have gloves on or something. If you're typing fast in code, aren't you more prone to coding errors? So the way I kind of look at it is, actually, I would think you're less prone to coding it. I've always kind of said this, but you have a what am I doing thought first, and then you have a how do I do that? And in this case, it'd be like, what am I doing? I want to write a line of code to sort this list. And the how do I do that is both there's an algorithm plus an actual like typing that out. And typing in code is not necessarily just your cursor's already on the right line and you already have the right context. Maybe you need to move into a function or make a new function. Anyway, the faster you can go between these two things, the less time you have to context switch in other ways. And the way I always kind of give this as a demo is something like, imagine you say, okay, I want to write a line of code to sort this list. Let's say you don't know how to do this. You will probably go to your browser, and then you will probably search for like sort a list in Python. And then maybe while you're on this page now, you're like, oh, what is that? Sorting techniques. I didn't know about this documentation. And now you're here and you're like, whoa, I found out all this other stuff. Like, that's fine. That might elucidate what you're doing, but it is a context switch that just happened. You went from I'm trying to sort a list to now you're reading about like cats on Wikipedia or something. Same thing can happen even just, I don't know, you're not familiar with how you're supposed to type something, you use the wrong keyboard shortcut, you get lost for a bit, then you lose track of your task. So yeah, I don't think you're going to make coding errors necessarily. If you try typing at double the speed you can normally type at, you'll probably make typing errors, which I guess you can consider to be coding errors. See the purpose of it, but I prefer to avoid things that encourage laziness in almost all ways. Rarely use speech to text. Okay, do you use autocomplete, Mitch? If you're writing a text message and you type "what are" and it suggests you, do you accept that suggestion? This is gonna shake you to your core. Is AI to take notes as they speak for a post-visit summary? It's neat. Nothing gets forgotten about. Yeah, that happened to me when I got the sleep study done just like a year ago. Sometimes, but rarely. Sometimes. So you are saying you're the king of laziness then? No, so the way I look at it is a lot of this stuff is stuff I don't want to do. So for example, doing the dishes or ironing my clothes or something like that. Like, I don't ever want to do this stuff the rest of my life. And if there was some robot that could reliably do this and not break dishes or set the house on fire, then by all means, I would be getting that robot. And you might say, well, isn't that a dishwasher? And it's like, it doesn't take the dishes out. It doesn't put them in for you. So I look at that with like typing straightforward messages. Like, why should I have to type you and doing and a question mark? That's my valuable human time. Okay, so we want to make a new branch out of this stuff. We were already on main, right? Yeah, let's go make a new one. Get to checkout dash B intro cutscene. Before I do this, we don't already have one of these, right? Because I vaguely remember doing this before. Give me 1 sec. Hang on. Okay, sorry about that. What do you do during that 0.4 seconds that you saved? Instead of you doing, you do what? I delete what the AI did and I type it out myself. That way I get both worlds. I'm not lazy and the AI did it for me. Are you washing dishes? What I'm on board with is having 2 dishwashers. I saw someone suggest the idea in a video and it stuck with me. What? What does that accomplish? Oh, like you don't even store your dishes in your cabinets anymore? You just always take clean dishes from dishwasher A, and then when you're done, you put them in dishwasher B. Yeah, that's it. Okay, that's pretty interesting. This is essentially how laundry works for us sometimes. It's like the floor becomes our our closet. Oh man. Hey Britarius. Hey, thanks for leaving a review on Steam, Britarius. I appreciate it. All right, so the first thing is getting all this stuff in order, and I don't really want some of this to be checked in. Like this, for example. Maybe, you know what we should do? We should just make this a much smaller image. Yeah, let's do that. Open with, whoops, not Firefox. Darn it, I don't want Firefox open. Quit. Open with GIMP. All right, so just scale this to... Hello. There's another dialog open. I don't know why it does that. Scale image. Percent. We could just take the percent we use right there in the game. Not that it really matters. Yeah, so scene 8 goes over here. This sprite had a scale of 25%. Yep, that's fine. 25 scale. Okay, export that. Now in the game, we set this back to a scale of 1. Yeah, I know it's kind of blurry now. I don't really care. Laundry on the floor? Never. Glad you had a good time. I'm glad to hear it. Kids not even have a sock system. Unmatched socks go in the sock box. Matched pairs go in the sock bucket. Yeah, every once in a while, I will actually take care of everything. It all depends on what else is going on in life. And right now, it feels like things have been pretty busy. This weekend, we have a bunch of plans. And there's just other stuff we've had to catch up on. All right, I want to get our initial check-in of this mock-up. Check in the rapid prototype or rapid storyboard. Okay, so intro mockup's going to be totally deleted. Yeah, we'll never have a need for this once this is all done. So I think we'll just write a task about deleting this. Delete, what's it called? Intro mockup.tscn. Intro mockup.tscn. Okay. So we're going to check it in for now. World changed somehow. This is scary. What is this? What is this indeed? Oh, I know. Wait, yeah, what? Huh. What's the texture that it uses? World exterior atlas. World exterior atlas. So it's one of these two. And it's the exterior one, so it should be pretty apparent. Is this there twice? No. They're different. But the tiles on this are mostly the same. Anyway, I think it's this one. It looks like we added a bunch of other tiles in here. It's really, really hard to tell. Who worked on the art for the game? So it started as a couple of asset packs, and now Quickie Joe's been making a lot of artwork on top of this. I take clothes out of the dryer instead of hanging them up. I just sort them into the baskets. So Mitch, about that autocorrect. Hey, Pressel. Man, like I said, I'm pretty sure I know what this is, but the way to find out and be certain about it, I would need to stash the changes and then save a link to this. All right, let's do it. I want to find out what's going on. I'm going to just copy this. And we're going to put this into GIMP. Oh, you know what we could do? Here's what we could do. This is risky. But we copy this whole thing, paste it over here, and then revert the entirety of this file. And then reload this. Aha, so that is what happened. We, for whatever reason, only needed the tree and the fences here. So what we did here is we added in every other tile. Which would have deleted our house from over here. Yeah, and I said we would skip that anyway. Okay, then let's just cut this out. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Something else must use these anyway, though, right? Do we not render houses anymore? Oh, weird. I don't actually remember. That's custom. That's custom. That's custom. And that's custom. Yeah, no, we don't render them anymore. Okay. Yeah, then this is fine. We don't need to worry about this. All right, Big Snake, intro, final part, Sultan drinking long. This is in unused, right? Yeah, and it should eventually be unused. We should probably make certain of that afterward. Make sure nothing in unused is actually used. This is what's weird about prototype branches. I don't normally ever even check this stuff in, but I think it'd be a mistake to not check in as we go here. We're going to add the interior. This is almost certainly going to be needed, but I'm not sure what we get that we don't already have. We get the hardwood floor. We get some dressers and stuff. Yeah, sure, whatever, fine. All right, then intro is a brand new scene. Environment. What changed here? There's a line that thinks changed it. Oh, there it is. Use anchors. I think I just accidentally clicked that, so let's just discard that. Kids' rooms are messy. You can't put the clothes away, so we have to do that first. One day I'll put all the clothes away. Not today, of course, but one day. Hey, if you got a system, you got a system. And if that system is not internally consistent with your other systems, then you have a system that's not internally consistent with your other systems. And who am I to say any different? All right, so this looks to me like this is exactly the same thing and just got a different ID. So I think we can just delete that. Shop.tscn. Did anything change here? I don't think so. Let's delete it. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, great. Anything else? Game intro scene. We need that. We need this garbage. Absolute garbage. Yeah. And the main changed slightly. So we're gonna comment that out. I guess I'll just write some to-do items in the code. Remove this once the intro is done. We don't have any to-do items in the code right now, right? Yeah, just that one. Okay, so tackle all to-do items in the code. At least you do laundry. Mine can stay on the floor. Wait, what? It sounds like you're doing laundry as well. It's just you don't have a sock bucket. Unless you're saying you don't even clean your clothes. Oh, which is not good. Not a good look. Tile Atlas source. Okay, so this is all an intro mockup, which is going to get deleted. So I don't care about this at all. I'm going to review this one more time. I'm pretty sure we're good. Yeah, the imports I don't care about. Oh, wait, no, those can be checked in on their own. This and this. Yeah, so add some unused graphics. These aren't even necessarily intro related. One day I'll have a system once I get my depression and ADHD and all the rest under control. Oh man, that's a rough combo. I think there are certain things that don't really matter. Like if I don't know, if your laundry's not getting in the way and you're just throwing it on the floor, I think it's okay. I think there are other things where it's like if you're not, I don't know, washing your hands out of laziness or something, that's probably less good. Okay, so we include this new graphics for this. This is fine. This is fine. So this is all garbage code, and that has a to-do item on it. All right, so we'll need to clean up intro.cs eventually. Clean up intro.cs. All right, but I think we can check this in. So check add prototypes of the intro. This is all garbage, or this is mostly garbage. There's a rapidly mocked up storyboard with static scenes in intro mockup.tscn. Also, there's some sucky code in intro.cs. Yeah, that's it. Basic hygiene is a cool thing to do. Well, yeah, basic hygiene can affect other people too. You don't want to spread sicknesses or anything. And also you don't want to get yourself sick. But laundry? Laundry? Okay, cool. So make a new branch, done and done. Bug light theory is gathering steam. Yeah. Moths to a flame. All right. So how do we tackle this at first? I think we can start with scene 1 here, which is this one, time for my first adventure. So how do I want all of these set up? Should they all be in the same world? I don't think we're ever going to connect them to one another. So they could just be intermediate scenes. In fact, something I had not thought about. Let's go pull up Super Retro World again. Oh, come on, I hit tab. Why did it delete it? Yeah, so in this example, there's a bunch of gray in the background. We could do that for everything. It'd be nice to have this look sort of artistic. Here, I think showing that it's the interior by having a gray background, I think that's fine. So I don't think we need to do anything artsy here. But for these other ones, like this is in the overworld. And I want to render that like this is the only part of this that matters. So I kind of wonder, what if you were looking at this through a lens, like there's a circular view, and we do something like what we do for battle windows. The way battle windows work is they're in their own viewport. So we don't render anything around it. Where's an example of that? Yeah, here. So like this is in its own viewport. We could render everything just in a little tiny square in the middle of the screen, basically, or a rectangle, showing everything that happened. I think it's generally nice to have it take up the full screen when it can. And then we could just center on the action that's happening. But that means we need to draw out an entire like town around this, which I think we can probably do. Yeah, maybe we should just go with large scenes then. And just the very first one is special. start getting the scenes in place. For the first shot, it's an interior, so it can be floating in a gray void. For other shots, we should probably just center on the part of the action that matters and render enough outside of that where it shouldn't matter what zoom level you're at. Anything that's transparent will be black by default. Yeah. Any weekend plans? Yeah, a bunch of social plans. We're going to 3 different friends' places this weekend. So it's pretty busy. Body doubling? Yeah, I think body doubling is great. That sounds busy, but who doesn't like busy? I like busy sometimes, but I've actually kind of felt like I should probably take a day off sometime in the next like week or two. So I kind of want a break even from some of the social stuff. And it's not like it's bad. I want to see these people we're going to see. Just 3 sets of plans in one weekend is kind of a lot for me. Can I come? Just show up there. I'm like, who's that? I'm like, I don't know. Never seen Lloyd. Burns you out quickly if you never recover. Yeah, and it's busy in different ways, but I think it's all kind of pulling from the same energy pool because of what I'm doing here. Like, streaming is basically work plus some social aspect. And I get drained out pretty quickly from social stuff anyway. So at the end of a stream, I'm kind of dead. And then I come back as a skeleton. All right, so it's an interior. I still haven't figured out how we're going to transition between these things. We're going to be mostly just fading to black, so they could all just be their own scenes. So they should all probably just be a node 2D. Maybe each scene should be a node 2D in its own .tscn file. And then we can instantiate them as needed and fade between them with a texture rect on top of everything. It could all be controlled by one master scene. Each sub-scene could inherit from the same base class and emit a signal when it's done. Yeah, okay, I think this is pretty good. Okay. Social batteries practically non-existent. I met someone who seemingly wanted to be a hermit. And I still could never really tell, was that the best lifestyle for them? I mean, not like it's up to me, but I was just wondering, some people might say that, but they might need social contact anyway. I'm not sure if this person needed social contact. Or like the internet was enough for them, I guess. Hey, that's me. Hey, Sarah. Like I think social health looks different for different people, but I think that in general society has trended toward worse social health. And now I think it's a bit harder to navigate that. And this is kind of related to having a third place, or really the concept of no third place anymore. Like it used to be people would go hang out in a coffee shop or a barber shop or a club or something like that, some sort of, I don't know, anything, chess club or something. And now some people work from home and don't even really have a second place. It's me. Hi, I'm the hermit. It's me. I see Kevin in every Twitch stream. Hang on one second. Okay. Only on my terms. That makes it difficult sometimes. Did the hermit thing. It's not the best thing for me. Yeah, it's not the best thing for me either. But I think being around people constantly is also not the best thing for me. Somewhere in the middle. I think it's probably more toward the hermit side than the doing plans all the time side. I don't know if I've ever talked about this on stream, not that it really matters, but there was this post on Hacker News a while ago that talked about stoop coffee. And for those who don't know, it was some couple in San Francisco, and in like the heart of San Francisco. They were in downtown somewhere. And what they did is they set up some like lawn chairs outside of their place, and got a carafe of coffee and would like flag down neighbors and be like, hey, come over, you should drink coffee with us. And that grew into some community of like 100+ people, and they all hang out now and they do stuff, and it's been going on for, I don't know, years or something. I love this idea. I think it's such a cool idea, just forming something, getting together with your neighbors. But I think I would hate it in practice. So I keep talking to my wife about this, like, what if we started our own stoop coffee thing? And I'm not serious about it. I don't think it was like 100 people all standing outside. It was more like, there might be 10 people on this day or 10 people on that day, or maybe they do a barbecue and have 30 people or 50 people one day. But yeah, that is a lot in total. And even just getting to know that many people and then being part of this community. Is it genuine connection or is it superficial? So from what I understand, and again, this is just from me reading about it on the internet, there are definitely genuine connections within that. I'm not saying every one of those 100 people is connected to every one of those 100 other 99 people in there. But yeah, I think there's some actual friendships in there, and people are, I don't know, they're just making connections that wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for some people just sitting outside drinking coffee. And it's, what's cool about the idea is it's incredibly easy to do, assuming you live in a place that supports that. So if you live, 2 miles from your closest neighbor, then yeah, it's not so easy to do. But if you live in a downtown area already, then yeah, making coffee is pretty much dirt cheap. Like if you buy some lawn chairs, it's not like it's expensive startup or something like that. And then most people drink coffee, so the accessibility is pretty high. And it doesn't have to be coffee anyway. You could have just water or something. Okay, so we're gonna go make our first scene here, and it's not gonna be this stuff that we have. And we will probably have a camera in here that's controlled by this. So let's go make a new scene. Save this as like intro wake up scene. Yeah, maybe we call it that. Let's go into scenes, game intro, wake up scene. No, I'll call it intro wake up scene. Yeah. Organize a neighbor day every year. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Our shared wall neighbor invited us over for Chinese New Year celebration, and that was actually nice to get to know them since we share the same structure. Yeah. Hey, Thals, how you doing? Yeah, I invited, maybe inspired by all the stoop coffee stuff, I invited our neighbors over for pancakes, but they were busy. So that'll probably happen in another couple weeks or something. This isn't a Skyrim meme. No, it's not. You're certainly not in a wooden cart. Okay, so now we can start to mock up the intro to your home, or the interior of your home. So this we do need to make look pretty decent. So let's have this be like the tile map stuff. Tile map layer. And put this all inside of a node 2D, which is the tile maps. All right, so this is going to be the, I don't know, the background, I guess. And we're going to make a new tile set and add in our interior. Done, done. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to this graphic here, and we're going to try to make this look like this. What is this top thing, though? Where do I get that from? Do I have the interior open? Is it that? I think it's this. But there aren't colors beneath that, are there? No. Is there another part where that graphic shows up? Oh, here. I see. Yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, it is that. Okay, so that's what we got to use for the walls and stuff. Oh, I'm glad it helps you, Strikers. Yeah. Someone took Thel, so I can't rename back to it, so I'm forever without that. Oh, man. Well, I hope life calms down a bit for you. All right, so background. We need the walls, and this is going to be an auto tile, I guess. It doesn't have to be. And we're probably just going to have some very straight corners here anyway. And I was picturing that this is your bedroom, not even your whole house. Although classic RPG houses have like 4 beds just sitting in a row. It's all one room, fireplace or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'll call Q. How you doing? How many checkpoints did I miss? We're on checkpoint 7. We're getting ready for Next Fest. And I'm trying to design a house. And I'm just so bad at this stuff. So I guess let's start with the walls. Yeah, I think we'll just draw these in manually. I know we could use an auto tile. I wonder if we should. And then what this looks like. Does not play Minecraft. No, I played Minecraft. I just make all of my houses look like stone and wood boxes. Because I am very bad at that. All right. Why is this not pasting? Oh, I see. Yeah, nice. So we've drawn 1 bit so far. I'll put this on my other screen. Okay, so the actual background, we want this to be centered on the screen, which means we need a camera looking at this in the center. So where this thing is in particular, I guess doesn't really matter. So let's draw this and then a whole bunch of walls here. Maybe we should just put the bed down or something first. Yeah, this will be like floor and walls. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, so floor was going to be this graphic. Is that a good size bedroom? Yeah, it's probably pretty good. All right, then we put some more of these in there. Okay. Then we need the, oh, whoops. This isn't supposed to connect to the ceiling like that. Then we need the walls. We're going to go with, let's go with this color. Oops. Yeah, delete all this. No, this is huge for a bedroom. Are we drawing a house or are we drawing a bedroom? What's better to do here? I feel like you should just have everything in your, yeah, we should just draw the whole house, I think. In case where someone describes the tiles. And then ask the LLM to build something. I haven't thought of using an LLM, but I'm okay just kind of making this. Yeah. Floors and walls. Okay, so let's do the whole house then, which means we need enough space. What would you have in your house if all you had is one room? I guess you'd have a fireplace, which would serve as where you're going to cook stuff. Have some dressers, a bed. Yeah. Okay, so floor and walls. We need, yeah, furniture. Feels easier to do in that order. Also, I should probably just have a blank one of these. Blank for copying. All right, so furniture. Let's delete all this. Shoop. All right, furniture. We're going to give you a dresser. Let's go up against the wall. Maybe one of these too. Put it right next to it because you don't know how to organize things. And you can have where's a fireplace? Fireplace. It's here, but where's the, oh, you put it on top. Okay, I see. It'd be, no, you would have just woken up. So probably the fire would be out at that point. So we'll put this here. And a chimney. And we'll put some logs in there. Maybe they're smoldering. Yeah, let's just add in a sprite for that, I guess. No, it could be a tile map. Okay, so blank for copying. We'll say like fireplace logs. So we put that there. Then we offset this whole thing so that it's inside the, whoops. Why is this not working? There we go. Okay, how's that look? Doesn't even show. Because this needs to go here. Yeah, there. Hey, Goose. Heating, food, storage, mirror, water basin. I don't think mirrors should exist in this world. Yeah. Let's copy this and make this windows. This is background, which we don't even need yet. All right, windows. Let's give you some windows. We only render the rear wall here. So probably your dresser should go somewhere else. I think you'd have some small, modest windows. It wouldn't be behind a fireplace. That doesn't make any sense. All right, now those didn't show up at all because the windows need to be on top of the walls. And you just block one of your windows with one of these things. That's why I shouldn't be in charge of any of this stuff. Okay, now we need a nice rug. We're going to put your bed on top of this rug, I guess. So what color bed do you have? Oh, these are only the small beds. Although you only really need a small bed. Are we to believe that you live in a king-size bed? That you sleep in it, I mean? No. Drawers are just full of logs. All right, so I think your bed would be near the fireplace. You want to be nice and warm. Or there'd be one of these things. We could, yeah, put this over here. And maybe a little chair there too. Nice. Oh, and there'd probably be a table, of course. Why not? But that'd probably be in front of the, also, I don't think you'd be the kind of person, you'd have a small table. A small table like this over here on this side of the room. Yeah. Put a couple of chairs. Okay. Now for your bed and the rug near the fireplace. Hey, look, I'm not good at this. No one is claiming that I'm good at this. Oh, you'd probably have a clock. Yeah, I think you'd have a clock. All right, what else? No oven. We're just going to say they use that. You would probably have some plants. Calling that furniture. You keep a couple of plants alive. Not really big into plant. Oh, that won't work. It's going to go on the walls, which means that the clock is technically going to be in the window layer. All right, there. Which means that this doesn't need to be here. Which means that now the plant can go in front of that and won't look messed up. Yeah. It's starting to come together. Probably need a little bit more of this in various parts of the floor. Yeah, there. All right, now for the bed on top of this. Bed. All right, which color bed do you sleep in? I think one of these three. Let's go with the blue one, I guess. All right, so you have your bed on a rug. All right, now in the picture, they got some other little things here. I think having a treasure chest in your house would be sensible. And probably having some stuff on the tables would make sense too. This is like furniture extra. All right, where are the cups? Here's some, but we have just regular cups, right? Yeah, like you'd have, I think you'd have a mug or two over here, maybe a mug there. Probably be closer to that chair. And a bottle of something. I don't know what that's a bottle of. Put that there. Yeah, nice. Oh, there's no door on the place. We should probably carve out a little thing here. Put a rug at the entrance. I think we should also just shrink the whole thing. This is a palace right now. You don't live in a palace. All right, so background. Let's start getting this stuff. This goes up here. Then we have a corner. Corner. Then the sides. Whoops, not that. All right. Put that all the way down, I guess. Same thing here. And then we get this bottom area. And I want there to be a nice little extra section right here where there's the entryway. Yeah, so now we got to delete that. And then get this to hook back around like that. Okay, so now we got to fix this. Should probably save this. And then we need a rug. And that's going to be blocked by... Why doesn't this look like the reference picture? What have I done? Oh, God. This bad boy can fit so many rugs. Slap the roof of that car a couple times. All right, we need the entry rug. Where are you? Oh, there it is. All right, I think they would have this tasteless looking welcome mat over here. This is supposed to be sort of blocked by this. I don't know how they did this. They have like a half tile being used for this. I could... Can I do that? No, I don't think I can do that. They don't have any other... Is that not just a wall with a higher Z index than the mat? I don't know. But if I take this and put this here, no, that doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. My brain can't comprehend how you set that up. Well, anyway, a welcome mat. That goes here, I guess. Shifted tile map half height up. Yeah, that's what I think I'd have to do. So I'd take this and say shifted walls and then just delete everything else that we have here. And then get rid of this. No, not like that. This. Oh, God. Doing a really bad job at this. Yeah, this is supposed to be on this layer. There. Then we delete it from here. And then we move this up. Aha. Okay, so let's make sure we're moving it up by the right amount. -8. Done. Okay, now the shifted walls go on top of everything. Now how's that look? Okay, that's pretty close, but I guess the welcome mat would be shifted a bit too. So we have... Where's the fireplace logs? Okay, here. This is also shifted, right? So if I were to draw the welcome mat in this one and try to render that here. Okay, I've messed something up. There. No, this is not offset by the same amount. Either it's not going to show at all or it's going to... Okay. So to get this to show that I need to have the welcome mat get shifted, but just it and just by a little bit. So fine, let's do this. Welcome mat. Delete this. Put this here. Shift the whole thing. Nah, now that's convincing. That's great. Okay, now what else are we missing? Nothing should be directly touching the wall, so I think we need to shift these things in too. But I think the way we should probably accomplish that is by shifting one of these walls out by 8 pixels and then offsetting the whole thing. Wait, would that even work? I don't know. How about we just start with this? Yeah. All right. So what are we missing that we actually have access to here in terms of furniture? A couple of little pots. Makes sense you'd have those for some reason. And a barrel. Yeah, definitely. I would put one of these next to my table. Good. Some pots. Like it's Legend of Zelda. Is it a chamber pot? Who knows? And what else do we have? Yeah, I think a treasure chest. You're an adventurer. And we could cram some books on top of this thing on top. Yeah, nice. Let's do that. You read every once in a while. Oh boy. All right. I think we've got all the details we need for this. You don't have an upstairs. We're not going to render that. I don't think you would have a basement. Yeah, and maybe you have a nice picture on your wall of the outside right next to the window that looks outside. Okay, yeah. So, pretty reasonable, right? This is your home. I think if we were going to do anything, we'd probably shrink it vertically or add some other interest and not make it a totally square house. Feels like a concert hall. Okay, yeah. What else can we put in there then? Something that would make sense to go in the center of your place. I guess it can't be another table, right? There's nothing else that really makes sense to have there. Can't have a TV. What era is this? Squishing might be even better. Non-square houses are more interesting. No sink or water. Yeah, I was thinking there's probably not running water. I guess you could still have a wash basin. I guess it could have water in it. In which case, I can put this over here and get rid of that thing. All right, how about this? Let's take you and put you there for now. And let's put you over here. Or maybe move you up one, which means you need to move these things up one as well. And that way we can put this down here. Yeah, maybe even like. Okay. So yeah, I think squishing this a little bit more would be nice. Also, as long as I'm putting other things here, maybe put some books. All right. Looks very livable. So if we didn't have a square house, what would be the shape we'd cut out? The back wall is important to keep like that. Maybe you don't have some of this space. There's some like unusual. We bump all this stuff up. Think those books are supposed to go on a wall? Really? They look decent there. Fine. They don't look decent. Because there's like, yeah, there's like a coffee thing here or a cup or something. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. We need to cut out probably some of this space. And we could move the whole bed. L-shaped rooms are easier to design, and what I did on The Sims, the tick of the L is where the bed and wardrobe goes. The rest is where the living occurs. We could make it like this kind of L shape. We cut out the bottom right of this, and then the entryway is on the left. Yeah. And then we put the bed over here. Yeah. I like that. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna move this over to this. And then delete all of that. Then furniture extra. There's your bed. And then we move all the dining stuff over, including this isn't background, this is like walls. And this isn't really floors and walls. It kind of is. This is like outer walls. And this is shifted outer walls. Okay, so I want this whole thing to be moved so that your entryway is over here. So we're going to take all of this. No, maybe just this. Put this here. Yeah, and then the rest of this should look like this. Okay. Delete that. Shifted outer walls. We just move this whole thing. Good. Floor. We move that too. Delete that. Welcome mat. Okay, so there's your entryway. And now we want to move all of this stuff in a bit. To over here. And we can move that even one more. But then the chairs kind of get in the way. So how about this? Let's move. We have a vertical top chair. Yeah, this one. Let's put this over here. Good, good. Okay, now we cut out this entire bit. Floor decorations to the most walked paths, like in front of the sink. Do we have easy to do floor decorations? I mean, I guess we could use different wood or something. Or those worn out. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, put these on the path that you'd be walking. Yeah. Yeah, so like over here, over here. This is all going to get deleted anyway. So now I want to cut out this entire part of the house. Yeah, so outer walls. We're going to move this here. And then we want the bottom of this to be here. What am I doing? There. All right, delete all that stuff. And now to get the little corner pieces. Yeah, what do you think the sink is for with no plumbing? This is good. I mean, it's not great, and I think it's... Oh, what happened there? Why are there two sets of logs? Not anymore. Yeah, this is good. I think I would delete one more tile of this stuff. Or maybe just move the bed to the side. Let's move the bed. All right, there we go. Now I think something's missing from just this little corner here, and then I think we're pretty good. Maybe another plant. Maybe a brazier. You use that for light in your bedroom. That looks kind of out of place. Maybe an end table with a candle. Now we're talking. Hey, Kaisa. Is that an interior design? Yes. And then that's it. We're done now. I'm not going to spend more time on this, only because we can always change this in the future, and picking where furniture goes or something is not going to change the story or anything. So now we need the character to be in bed. Now we don't have that, so we're going to need special graphics for that. But we can get the main character and show them waking up, I guess. I don't know exactly how we want to do this. And now that I think about it too, the pre-death main character needs to be put in a non-unused place. Yeah. So this is in assets right now. I guess let's put this. We can put it in characters. Yeah, let's do that. Did that work? No. Okay. For heroes or everyone in town? Oh, the interior? This is just for the intro of the game. You'll never see this in the actual gameplay. You'll only ever see this in the first like 3 seconds of the game, and then never again. Yeah, I think this is a good idea, and I think we should. So minor improvements to the scenes I made for the first scene with the bed with the house. Is it watching you build this tile by tile? Yep. It's just the VOD that plays out. Okay, so pre-death characters right there. We're gonna go add this in. This could be an animated sprite, but in this case, it's probably gonna be a sprite 2D. Oh, they will eventually need a blinking animation or something, or like some kind of wake up animation. Maybe it's with them right next to their bed. I kind of wanted it to be them waking up. I don't know. Let's make it an animated sprite for now, and it'll just have 1 frame until we need more. Okay, so now animation, new sprite frames, and go import 16 by 20. All right, so if they're gonna wake up, they'd probably be looking like this. Yeah. And they'd be there in bed. And it'd be, oh boy, time to start an adventure. So where's our mock-up? Time for my first adventure. I was just thinking about how we should proceed with the rest of the stuff that I want to do here. Like we could mock up a little bit of each scene. This is all we had for the original thing, so that's pretty good. But yeah, we could mock up a little bit of each one. I think it's probably better to just get each scene kind of done and then move on. Yeah. This is definitely going to take at least a few days. Could save so much effort with him being already awake and staring out the window or something. I don't know. We'll see what feels good once we've got this stuff animated and kind of working. We're going to need a camera for this too. I will need to set the clear color. All right, floating in a interior scene. So I think what I want to do is get it so that it fades in and the camera shows the bed, and then have the characters say whatever they're supposed to say. What are they supposed to say? Time for my first adventure. Yeah. And then fade to black and load another scene. Can you put a sock bucket? This is pretty nice. Nothing's animated in here. I don't think it really needs to be. Also, we could do one of those things where we like slowly pan the camera just to give some sense of movement. And then they say, time to start my first adventure. Actually, I guess this is one of the problems with showing. We can't center on the bed if it's just that one room. We probably center over here. Although I think panning this a bit and showing the character, time for my first adventure. The other thing we could do, and this is what I was talking about when it comes to like artsy stuff, we could have just this scene. Like if you imagine that the whole screen is this big, we could take just this part of it and we could animate this and like time to start my adventure while another scene is kind of rendering over here. And this would be the like, I'm going to go accept a quest kind of thing. So you're watching like little snippets of this play out, but it doesn't feel like fade to black, fade back in. Each one is just kind of a scene playing out. I kind of want to try that out. Maybe test out what it would look like to have the scenes just kind of floating by and fading in and out with what's going on. Yeah. Okay, I think I should get lunch before I tackle anything else. Also, I just haven't taken a break at all. So, yeah, I think I should go get lunch. And then I think we can spend the rest of the day working on just the intro. I'd originally talked about what if we worked on the next music track, but really I think the intro is the most important. And it's a nice thing to do on stream and get feedback for because I'm very bad at this. So, thank you all for the input so far. Yeah, that's it for now. And I'll be back in about an hour probably. And we'll just keep trucking with this. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day.